You okay?
Yeah, tickle my throat.
No, that's what they say.
Tickle
Hey, we're
my-
live. Oh, and look at that. Aldi's just getting in like right away when we went live. So, yeah, cool.
I guess we can't talk about them now.
No, we can't talk about him. We shouldn't talk about him anyway, unless it's in glowing terms about Mr. Alden.
How you doing, Scott?
Well, he's still logging in apparently.
I was checking the live feed.
Cannot unmute, he says.
You cannot unmute. His mic, he can't unmute his mic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Says host disallowing it. What is asked to unmute? Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Click on his thing or something there. You can.
Yeah, but I mean, all it says is I can ask to unmute. Like I can ask him if he'll unmute.
Then ask him to unmute. See what happens.
I did. I'm clicking the button, but nothing's happening. He doesn't even have any video either. Well, whatever. There he is.
There he
I see
is.
him.
Some bug, I guess.
Yeah.
We could hear you.
It said I asked him to unmute, and then I clicked OK, and then it said, no, you can't unmute. So it's like a never-ending cycle of fail. There we go.
Wookie,
Doesn't
that
like you
is
today.
very good news. I'm glad your friend is out of the ICU.
What was that?
Oof.
Wookie, kid's
Oh.
friend is-
Yeah, that's good. Dude,
Yeah.
That's good.
and he's no longer on a respirator, which is very good.
Oh, respirator.
Or she. I don't know what the sex is.
Yeah.
Happy early Christmas to everybody.
Saved you.
That's still 4 days away. Yes.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, but
I
we're
had a
not gonna
hard
have
drive crash this week, so yeah, I've been dealing with that.
You had a what crash?
Like,
Hard drive crash.
Oh,
Do you remember when the power went out? Like I posted a picture
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my NAS, you know what a NAS is, right? When I say NAS.
no.
Do you guys know what that means?
say it again. I'm sorry.
NAS, NAS, NAS. Short for network attached storage. It's basically like a big hard drive.
Okay.
Attached to the network that you can access, like a
Right.
massive storage.
I like, oh, yeah. I mean, so it doesn't
So I
work
hadn't
anymore, or
turned it-
what?
What's up?
It doesn't work anymore, or what?
So I hadn't turned it on since the power outage. The power outage knocked it out. And I just hadn't been using it lately, so I didn't turn it on. And then I turned it on this week, and when it turned on, it said, as soon as I turned on, it would turn itself off. And I'm like, oh, great.
Mm.
That's all I need. And that was like Monday of this week.
Okay.
And or was it Saturday? I can't remember. It was either Saturday or Sunday, something like that. It was not great. And so I turned it on and turned on. So I've been messing with this stupid thing all week, and I finally got it on. And I've got another NAS to copy everything to, except it's really slow.
Is it?
So I've been copying all week long, all the different directories and stuff. It's just, I mean, because I use it to back up my systems,
Right.
And I don't know if I need this stuff. I probably shouldn't. I probably don't. But I'm like, I'm not just gonna wipe
You
it
never
out.
know. Yeah.
And it had basically it crashed, and I can't recover it. For some reason, it won't let me recover it, which is dumb because I'm like, it's just annoying. It's another problem. It says 2 of the hard drives are crashed. You should replace them. I'm like, well, if I replace them, then it will, I won't be able to. I don't know. It was just all this weird. And I was trying to get it to start up, and I finally got it to start up. Somehow I unplugged one of the cables and turned it on, and it turned on. I'm not asking why. I just turned it on, and now I'm copying everything off of it without trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Don't blame you there.
so I've been working with that all week.
Deal with that later.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened? You just fried it?
So the power outage probably did something to it.
Yeah.
And I had
Well,
it on
likely
UPS.
story.
But I don't
Power
know if
outages aren't
it's-
fun. But electronics don't work well with them.
Anyway, it's an all mystery to me right now. Anyway, so that's been fun.
You'll figure it out, Scott. I got faith in you.
I'll figure it out.
Oh,
Well, anyway, it'll be done copying, I think, by the end of the week.
End of
Yeah.
the week.
It's forever.
Wow.
It was like 30 or 40 terabytes. It's massive.
Wow. That is
Every
big.
time I would buy a PC, I would just basically say, copy the whole hard drive. Like, don't even. I didn't even make any decisions.
Right.
Like, I made no,
Yeah.
you know,
So there's a lot of junk in there.
it's probably tons of junk, and it's game shit, and it's all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. Work and games and annoying things. PCs, I do. So
You excuse me. So I mean, did you lose anything, you think, or
it's all copying off. I mean, here's the thing, it's all backups, right? So like my main computer still works, and I'm gonna back that up again when I get the new NAS working. So it'll be okay.
yeah.
I'm obsessed about backing up stuff, man. I'm like, I've lost too much stuff over the years. I thought
Yeah.
for a moment I lost all my photos. I really need to back it up offline, like, or out of this house, like on some other system. Because if I had lost my photos, it would have been like 20 years of photos gone. Like, they're only here in this one spot.
If I put them on a separate hard drive.
I have like 2 or 3
Hard drives.
well, yeah, external hard drives.
Yeah, I could do
And
that.
then I- and
actually.
then I- and
That's
then
probably
I-
the
and
best
then-
move.
and then I copy a bunch of it. I pay the whatever it is, $4 a month to have like a stupid amount of space in my Google Drive. Which
The problem is
know-
I don't have the bandwidth to do. I mean, like, uploading terabytes of data is like
Oh yeah.
months, if not years, at my speed. So I'm like, well, how can I do this? I can't do it.
same way you eat an
Pain in the
elephant,
ass.
man, one bite at a time.
Your bandwidth is that bad down there?
I have crappy band. I've gone through this whole rigmarole. I don't have fiber.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did.
I have
mention
DSL.
that. Wow.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember when I got my DSL, like, I don't know, I remember I got it. Oh man, this would be like, what did DSL stand for?
Digital signal
Digital service line.
service
No,
line.
that's not
Yeah,
what
was
it
that
is.
it?
It's something
No.
else. What is it?
But no,
Digital
I remember I got it. I mean, man, this would have been
Digital subscriber line.
subscriber line. That's
I mean, it's
That
still
was-
a valid. I mean, although they're not. So here's the thing: you call AT&T for service. They're like, "Do you want a free upgrade to fiber? We'll get you on fiber. You want a free upgrade to fiber?" I'm like, "Yes, I
tell
do.
you what fiber.
Tell me more." They sent a guy out, and every time they're like, "We can't do it." I know, but you offering it every time makes me send you out. So you tell me when you stop offering it, or tell me how to fix it. I will start stopping. You send people out.
Is it a zoning thing that they can't run it, or
No, I don't know what it is. There's only 12 slots for 16 houses. It's a small neighborhood.
oh, there's not enough people demand? Okay.
No, there are 16 houses in this neighborhood. There's 12 slots for those 16.
oh,
So me and 3 other neighborhoods, which I
Oh.
don't know who they are.
You just got asked.
With my luck, it's probably unfortunately the guy. I mean, it's morbid as fuck, but like the guy who died. Did I tell you guys about the guy who died?
yeah.
Yeah. Last week, I think, or the week before.
I'm so depressed about it. I mean, it's just like, but I don't know if he had it or not. You know, not like it just feels weird to. I'm not going to do anything about it. If it comes around, I'll get it. I'm not going to try to like, did that guy, did the guy who lived in number 6 have it? Like the other number 6? No.
Oh, he's not using it, Scott. So there is
I'm
that.
sure not using him.
That's weird that they wouldn't
Weird.
foresee that. Like
Well, here's the thing. Every time I come out there, they're like, "Oh yeah, we need to upgrade the." I forget what the terminology is. It's some kind of like gateway. It's not. It's not a gateway, but it's something like that. And yeah, carry the hard drive to someplace you can plug into their fiber. Where? I don't know where to go. Nobody I know has fiber. We don't have fiber at the BGD building. We have cable.
Oh, it's better than DSL.
So anyway, terabytes of data over DSL will not upload anytime in my life, in the next year. So it's probably better just to buy a bunch of big hard drives and just copy shit and have an extra hard drive on laying around. The problem is like I'm constantly updating this thing. It's just a pain in the ass, right? It's like I don't want to have another copy of a copy.
Right.
Anyway,
So here's a question that's like completely has nothing to do with any of that.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Mm.
Is anybody expecting to get a board game for Christmas?
I don't think so.
I don't think I am either.
Nobody buys me. I mean, they know I just get what I want for board games. There's no way
Yeah.
I could possibly even buy. I mean, unless I made a wish list or something, but I don't even really care, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about board games. I told everybody really just don't give me anything. I get plenty of stuff. I'm not. I'd rather have them come up with an idea for me to give them a thing. That's the way I work my Christmas. I go, if you want to give me a gift, tell me what you want, like something real, like, and I still struggle with the family. Like, I don't know what anybody wants. I'm just getting random things like headphones.
Yeah, I went through that.
I don't even know if they need them. That's all I think of.
Are they your nieces and nephews? They're like teens,
they're like
right?
16 and 13.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that age.
One of them is getting a backpack and the other one's getting a smartwatch.
How smart is the watch?
It's the Samsung smartwatch.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's not an Apple guy, so it's not going to be an Apple thing.
Like I said, I just started. We're doing the axe throwing thing. Just getting together after Christmas. It's
cool.
Which reminds me, I got to reschedule that because I forgot about the playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs. Dallas playing on Saturday night. Although it's not really a playoff game.
Well, some teams have already clinched their division.
And have a bye. Or you don't have a bye yet.
No, the only the Eagles get a bye, but we will get.
Oh yeah, the only Eagles are. Well, maybe.
That's true. Maybe
if Dallas beats them, then you might have a chance. When don't you?
I mean, because they own the tiebreaker. We got to win out. And we need a lot of help. Because they beat us head to head, so we got to win out, and we need a lot of help. So
I'll be curious to see how this game Saturday goes without their quarterback.
I mean, he's kind of the linchpin, right? So maybe. I mean,
but I don't know. I mean, I don't really follow the other teams, honestly. I don't know who does what, does not. I'm my NFL Plus or whatever the hell I bought for the whole year. I wasted it. I've not watched a single replay.
Really?
I watched every game live on TV and not watched any replays.
Yeah. Me and Joe were talking about that. We're going to go through all our subscriptions after New Year's.
It's $100 for that subscription too. It's a waste.
We got one app she can't even get on half the time. I forget which one. I think it's AMC or one.
I also couldn't get it going for half the year. I had to go use a different. I switched to a different browser and it worked. Like, so frustrating.
I pay you $9.99 a month. I better get my crap.
I almost made a ticket. I almost opened a ticket. Customer service.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I was very close, but I finally figured it out. It was a different browser. It didn't work on Chrome. Like, how does it not work on the most popular browser?
Yeah, really. What'd you have to go?
I was what was it? Oh, I actually had a grievance that I wanted to share. This is more of an annoyance than anything else, but so when you have a band concert night at a school, does it make no sense to anybody? Like, you don't need to schedule like all of the 9th graders and the 10th graders and the 11th graders on the exact same night. And so you literally have half the town showing up and when the weather is negative 8,000 below and you have to walk 3 blocks to get to the school because that's the closest parking spot that you can find.
I thought the weather didn't bother you up there.
It isn't, but I have other people in my mother and my dad like that.
You're saying they invite
Couldn't drop them off at the door and come back like a man.
No, my mother drives herself because she's a strong, independent woman. My father drives himself because he is a man. So it's just.
I figured you all go together. I actually had a grievance with that. Go ahead, nice.
Well, no, it's just one of those things where it's just stupid. you know, it's like, why?
So I'm just
Why-
curious. I'm trying to work out the logic. So it's band. It's a band concert night, but they invite the whole school.
Well, it's a band concert night, but there's a freshman band, there's a concert band, there's a symphonic band. And then
Bunch
there's
of
also
bands.
there's also like a choir and there's a symphony and there's one of those for each one of those, right? And so like they group them all together, right? So it's like, oh, so the 10th grade or there's a concert band, concert symphony, concert choir. And then they each get their time, and that's like roughly mostly the 10th graders, which is my daughter's one. And so then but before that, before they have their program, they have the freshman band, freshman symphony, freshman choir, you know, and then after that is the symphonic group, right? You know, so but what you have is, yes, truth be told, it's fine, but it's like they say your kid's concert starts at 7, but they're expected to be there at 6:30. Well, you're not going to drive there, drop your kid off, and then leave. You're going to go there and you're going to like go in and you're going to sit down and wait for your concert to start, which is held in the exact same auditorium in the exact same way. So what you have then is you have literally like hundreds of people milling about in a high school, like waiting for things to, like, is it our turn to go in and listen to 45 minutes of horrible music? You know, I mean, it's just that. It's just
I see. what you're saying.
it's just like
And then it's
just
minus
separate,
18.
just do it.
I
do
know.
3
I have a
nights.
solution. I have a solution to this.
Move south.
Move.
Just do 3 nights. Just do 3 nights. How tough would that be? Just like
How tough would it be?
Tuesday night would be is this, Wednesday night is this, Thursday night is this. You know, I mean, it's just. I guess. I mean, there's the mentality. Let's just crush it all and get it done with, you know, and move on with our lives.
guess.
But I don't
These
know.
are the formative years, Lance.
Yes,
The wonder years, as it were.
That, and my daughter has her driver's permit now, so I have to ride in the car.
Oh, you have to ride with her. Okay.
Yeah, and because she has, and this is
That
me.
must be frightening.
Nah.
Exactly. Somebody screen capture that.
The more nervous you are, the more you're going to make her.
Is she a good
nervous.
driver though?
Yeah.
I bet she's a good driver.
Yeah, she's a good driver, but I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm sure she's.
It's
For
just-
now,
it's one
wait
of
till
those
she gets
things.
by herself.
It's like,
Sons of bitches.
you gotta,
I
Break.
remember it's so funny how like little things that happened to me when I learned to drive, like that stuck in my head. And my dad once said, "What does 30 miles an hour mean to you?" And I thought it means go 35 miles an hour. And then I thought, oh, it should mean 30, right? That's what I think I said. So I've always kind of remembered that. It's such a weird thing that happened when I was 16. You know, like, what does 30 miles an hour mean to you? Because I would think I was going 35
you know,
and a 30. And
what I always think of.
it was a good learning thing. I still remember how to not drive in the middle lane when there's like a trailer behind you or something, you know, like that. It's just all kinds of, or a trailer in front of you. I went to Sears driving school. I still remember all
Sears
that shit.
driving school. That's amazing.
I still remember
you?
almost all of it. I remember
Yeah.
how to stop fast and do the parallel parking and all the things that one guy taught me. It was great. You know, always have like your what do you call it? I can't remember the name of what is it? The shoulder. Always know your shoulder. Always knows where your shoulder is.
Yeah.
Like all these little things. Like it's it might. I was fucking 16, and I can still remember that shit.
Yeah,
How does the brain work like that? And I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
Because that wasn't important.
I know. it's
That's
just
what it
weird.
is. It's just,
I know.
with me, I get trigger memories. Like something will trigger another memory. You know, stuff like that.
no idea.
Is that true that Pete Rose is going to be the first bet
That would be funny.
on the Hard Rock Casino? Is that true? Or
What now?
I don't know.
Pete Rose
Stick
is
Age
what?
pulling our leg. Ohio is about to legalize sports betting, which I think that should be legal everywhere. I mean, there's some states that are getting all the money. Pete Rose has been selected to place the first bet at the Cincinnati Hard Rock Casino. Is that true?
Oh, he'd do it.
Oh, I'm sure. He
Yeah.
would, but, like, is he? Is that true?
Oh, I'm sure if they're doing it, yeah.
I played I think a great game this weekend.
Oh,
Well, let me tell my one. So if you watch, there's it's on Netflix now. I think it's a little documentary. It's called Facing Nolan, and it's people talking
Nolan Ryan?
about
No,
well, facing Nolan Ryan, and Pete
Oh,
Rose is
yeah.
on there, and
Okay.
he definitely has some good
was-
conversations.
It's true,
and-
apparently.
and this was well, and there's a lot of like people saying, well, back then, like the radar guns weren't very accurate, right? So it was, but now there's like, and so people are with the laser sightings and things like that. They're like dead on, and
Oh, so the
there's
speeds
there's a
weren't
lot
accurate.
of there's a lot of fanciful people that are saying that Nolan Ryan probably threw around 106, 107 miles an hour.
He threw faster than what they recorded.
What they thought he threw,
Because
right?
I think he was like
Yeah.
99.
No, he they
consistently.
clocked him at 100. He was the first person ever to get
Oh,
100
really?
miles an hour.
Okay, but it could have been
There's
faster.
there's a
Wow, that's
handful of
fascinating.
guys there's a handful of guys
amazing.
in the major leagues right now that they're just relievers. So they go in and they throw as hard as they can for like one inning. And like the Minnesota Twins have.
I want you
and
to throw it as hard as you can.
So the Minnesota Twins have a guy, his name is Joan Duran, and he had the fastest pitch of the year last year. It was 103.3 miles an hour. He threw a ball.
That's
And
crazy.
they showed his arm in super slow motion when he throws it, and it looks
Rubber.
like his arm is shattered. I mean, like it doesn't look like it should be held together.
I'm curious. Is that on the documentary? Or is that something else?
Oh, that's not in the documentary. You can find that.
I need to
like,
watch that.
Yeah, the documentary is fun.
I've been
It's-
watching weird things lately. I watched almost all of Love, Death, and Robots. Is that the name of that show?
Yeah, that's a good one. No, and they
I-
talk about, and they show the clip. They show like Nolan Ryan. They showed him like during his like first or second no hitter, like the guys they couldn't hit him, and the last guy or the second to last guy to go up to hit had broken off a leg of a table and walked onto the on deck circle. And then the umpire said, "What do you got there?" He's like, "I'm not going to get hit anyway, so I might as well try this." And they said, "Go back and get a bat."
It broke off a leg of a tape. Come
Yeah,
on.
broke. No, they show him, and he walks up, and he's got the leg of a table in his hand, and he's just like, "Well, I can't even see the ball right now." So, I don't know. That's a good message because Love, Death, and Robots is basically the evolution of heavy metal. And I'll
It totally is, actually. Yeah. Makes sense.
I used to have.
I've not watched
subscription.
season 2. I only watched season 1 and season 3. So I skipped the season somehow. I don't know how I did that.
Actually, didn't realize it was
I had a
season 3.
subscription to Heavy Metal magazine. I love that magazine.
Was that when after Kevin Eastman bought it or before?
I don't know. I mean,
Remember?
I had it when I was in high school. I had a subscription.
was-
To,
I don't know
I had
when
a
he
subscription
bought
to
it.
Dragon magazine. I had a subscription to Heavy Metal magazine. They were like
When we did
two-
the heavy metal game, by the way, I worked on a game called Heavy Metal Fact 2. I still have the box up there. Have you?
Yeah,
did
I
ever show you-
remember
did I
that
ever show
game,
you the
yeah.
box? Hold on, let me show you the box. That's show and tell. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
show and tell, tell and show. So another cool baseball thing that you may or may not care about. There was a Greg Maddux, who is considered to be one of the best pitchers ever. He's just masterful. He had a quote, you can find it, where he said that when I felt on, he said I could basically pick where I wanted the pitch to go, and I could pick the speed I wanted to do, and I could keep the batters off balance the entire time. I could basically make it so it was impossible for them to get a hit off of me, except for that motherfucker Tony Gwynn. He just hated Tony Gwynn. But anyway, oh yeah, I remember that. And how was the game reviewed?
Very well, actually. We got good reviews. I mean, I thought the game. I mean, I don't know. I felt it wasn't really truly heavy metal because it was sort of like a bunch of kids making a story. I mean, that was my work right there. That gun, that flamethrower coming out of that thing. That was like, I did the graphic. I didn't make the graphics, but I made it like blend that beautiful soft blending that was early days graphics stuff. Oh my gosh, this is bringing back memory. So this is signed by all of the whole team. Where am I? Right on the handle.
Nice.
Mm.
That's super cool.
Is this reversed or no?
No,
No,
Level Lord. Anybody know Level Lord?
I remember.
He was like
Oh,
famous dude.
yeah.
Zach Bellica, he's the actual he works for Epic now. He's like their sound designer.
Do you miss working on video
Oh
games?
my gosh, I totally do, because it's hard to say, but like there was such teamwork there. It was really like the best. You know, I have a great team, but we don't see each other all the time.
Right.
You know, like it's hard to have a good connection
Yeah.
from remote calls and like texting and chatting. Like I felt like the teamwork and the camaraderie from that day. Like, you know, I totally miss it.
I hear you. I miss that with the trains and construction. Yeah.
The game is still in here. I wonder if it works. I'd be curious to see if I can install it. Heavy Metal Fact 2. So, but here's the thing. The story was not gritty or funny or edgy. It was so vanilla, in my opinion. Like it didn't have any of the really cool stuff that makes heavy metal, you know? Like I feel like we should have got a writer. Oh my God.
Helps.
Yeah, if we had a writer that was a heavy metal writer and make the story, like I feel like we made the story up on our own as we went. And Kevin Eastman was part of it, but I don't think he really contributed on the story. He was just there to contribute art and design and kind of like ideas, but it was never like, let's brainstorm it. Unless I was, and I don't know if I was part of that, but like, let's brainstorm a great story for heavy metal. There's the disc.
It's pretty cool.
Ooh.
And the Julie Strain model was amazing. Like it was modeled after his wife who died, unfortunately, recently.
Ugh.
Oh, was it?
Way to bring us all down.
Well, I mean, you know, she was like the queen of the B movies. Was her claim of fame. She was like 6 foot. What did she say? 6 foot something and worth the climb. That was her. That was her like biography. Hey, we got a bonus disc, baby.
Ooh.
I don't even know what's on there, man. I wonder if
Bonus
this.
stuff.
I actually don't have a CD-ROM drive. I couldn't load this if I wanted to.
Oh yeah.
But I miss it. It's just there's something about working in a room with a bunch of people and like every day
Yeah.
getting your heads together and being like, let's figure out the coolest shit we can possibly come up with. Like that's awesome. I love it. But that's a little harder to do now. I mean, I still do that, but like it's not the same. A little different. Oh hey. Exclusive interviews, behind the scenes footage, hidden videos, and limited edition merchandise. Hosted by Julie Strain as Fact 2. By the way, FAKK2 was Federation, what was it? Ketogenic Kill Zone or something like something like they gave the planet a designation called Fact 2 so no one would come there, but it was like this Eden. It was really an odd story. And the movie was just terrible. Really wanted, I mean, we got early cuts to that thing. We were like, just laugh all day. Like how silly or bad it was. But Kevin Eastman was cool, dude. Wow, we even have a manual. A manual. Remember when we had manuals for games? The heads-up display HUD. That was my work too. I worked on the two-handed weapon system. You press the left button to attack with your left weapon and the right button to attack with your right hand button.
Ah.
Oh,
hello.
But here's the thing. That was a lot of work because remember Quake only had one button. I had to do all this. And then, oh my gosh, it was so much work. Like I worked like 12 to 14 hour days. No problem. I would go in at noon and I would come home at like 1 or 2 a.m. every day, like for weeks and weeks and months.
Passion project.
Crazy. Yeah, that would never happen anymore. I don't think that, I mean, honestly, I feel it's for the better of the work.
Yeah.
Like to burn yourself out that way was just bad.
Yeah. I think it's counterproductive. Hey, there's so many hours.
Anyway,
6.
Barry, great job on your review. I watched the whole thing.
Of
Skyrim.
okay. Thank you.
I think I know. I have the same feeling after playing only for 4 hours. It's a half-baked game.
What game is this?
It could be better.
It could be better.
It could
What
be a
game?
lot better. I think with another polish, Skyrim, though the adventure game. It's pretty good though.
I really
it's
enjoyed.
It's not great. It's good.
I
It's
enjoyed
Arkham
Skyrim,
Horror.
the computer game.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Arkham horror-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arkham horror-ish. Yeah, Skyrim was a good computer game. I put a lot of hours into that game. No, I
think I
didn't put
put-
as many as you, Barry.
I'll probably put in about 1,000 hours.
What? How many times did you
So-
play through it?
Um,
Was there that much content?
There is.
Did you mod yours at all, or
No.
Really? You just
Really?
played the core Skyrim.
So
Wow.
I played it on PS3. I think I did 3 characters on PS3, so I played through it 3 times. And then it gets to a stage on the PS3 where it just bugs out and you just can't play it anymore.
oh yeah, there are totally times like there. I remember
When you're carrying
sorry,
like 1,000 items.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. And you've got all the houses, and it's like, oh god, you've got these potions stored in this house and all
Yeah.
the weapons stored in that house, and it's just like,
No, and I don't mean to talk over you, but I remember there was on the PlayStation 3 there was this weird quest that you were supposed to climb to the top of this waterfall, and like basically if you jumped off and you survived the fall into the water, this ghost shows up that had done the exact same thing but died, and then he gives you this clue or a key that'll allow you to go to this
It
next
had
thing.
the best quests.
And so and so it was one of those things where on the PS3 you do it and you land in the water and the ghost would show up, and then as soon as he showed up it would just freeze and
Crash.
shut down. It would just crash. And it was just like I
I don't
remember
know how they pulled it off, honestly. The PS3, like the crashing thing on PC is just so standard. Like games crash. Like you
well,
can't.
and on a PC, like there's a thing where they'll actively patch it, right? You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
And
you
then-
submit, and then they're like, okay,
I
that's
guess now
fine.
with PS3 you can pat. PlayStation. Can pat. They're you're loading half the game off the hard drive anyway. So,
I don't
yeah.
know. It was weird.
but it was a damn good game, man. I remember that. I mean, I almost want to
still
play
is.
it again.
it still is. I'm still playing it, and my daughter plays it as well.
Well,
Yeah.
the weird thing with Skyrim, and again, is that I'd always say, "Oh, this is the type of character I'm going to play this time," and I would always
And then you
just
go off on a
slowly.
Turn
Well,
into
no-
a
No, I
same
would just,
thing.
I would eventually just slide into stealth bow.
stealth archer.
You just slide
Like,
into
stealth archery
bow.
was like the best game part of the game. Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
couldn't beat that.
No.
You know,
Stealth archer. I mean, I guess you could. But
boom, and then it
By the
just
way, I
gives you
gotta
everything.
go.
You watch like 2/3 of their health go away from a single arrow.
But that's the easiest way to level up is just to sneak around. You just sneak around the whole map and you level up, and that's it. You turn that legendary, and all of a sudden you've got a shitload of attributes that you can pump into everything else. And it's just like, yeah, that's fine. That and alchemy. Just pick up plants, mash them together, learn more recipes, become more powerful at that. And you just, unfortunately, all the other enemies become tougher than you. So you've got to learn like to fight. But sneaking and alchemy.
Not that I think we were going to sit here and talk about Skyrim and all, but one of the things that they
Well,
do with that
why
is
not?
that no. So hold on.
Better than
So
Star Wars.
we can
one
talk
of-
about the board game.
one of on the computer game, one of the things about it that like when you level, like you'd level stupidly up or whatever, but then you'd go back to an area that you hadn't been before, and all of a sudden you run into a rat, and the rat would have like 700 hit points because you were so leveled up. The game wanted to level up the thing
Mhm.
to like level it up to what you were. So then it was like kind of ridiculous, which whatever, they wanted to continue being challenging. Well, that's one of the patches. One of the patches for Skyrim was that like it would make things. A giant rat couldn't get 1,000 hit points,
Yeah,
So
it would level from 1 to 15 with you, but it wouldn't go past 15.
Yeah, and that was like
Yeah.
that was a good patch. I mean,
Yeah.
and like seriously, with all if you go on to like Nexus mods, like there's so many things that add more, like entire different areas to the game that people have created, islands that you can go and travel, and entire quest lines that you can do.
But that's
It's
what they
pretty
did
intense.
with the PlayStation 4 release. They did a free update for the 10th anniversary. So it's got some mods on it. So like survival mode and some other quests where I could go into areas that never existed before. So I've been enjoying them, and so far it's crashed once. in the what 200 hours I've been playing on the PlayStation 4 version. So, but
I'll say this: if you don't go stealth, whatchamadig, doing the Grand Evil Emperor 2 lightning bolt hands is pretty fun.
There was something with that game where I put on a an amulet that made me like undead or something.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But I couldn't, it was so bugged, like it like wrecked my game because I forget what happened, but I couldn't finish a quest, and then but I was invincible basically. I couldn't get killed by anything. It was some ridiculous quest that messed everything up.
No, there
You
was
guys
an
remember
entire quest line where you could become a werewolf, which really wasn't
Yeah,
worth
the
it.
vampire quest line that's what I think the one I did.
And the vampire
Yeah.
quest line really wasn't worth it either. I mean, it was just kind
My
of
daughter loves that. That's all she does. It's like the first thing she started about 20 times the game, and every time she just goes into vampire mode. She goes to the Dawn Guard, and she becomes a vampire one day, and then she says, "No, I don't want to be a vampire." And then I don't want to be a vampire. And then it's like, "No, I don't want to be a vampire." And it's like,
That's fantastic.
but she loves it. She loves it.
She won't play
But
the board game with you?
She won't play the board game with me. She still wants to play Defenders of the Realm only.
Interesting. So the board game does some interesting things that I've not seen in board games before.
Go on.
Well, the leveling, like, do you
Oh,
guys
the
do you know of any? And that's a little rule that we caught. Like you said, there's like these little rules that are like hidden away in the whole like what do you do when you discard a monster? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're supposed to discard it if you're higher than level 3
Mm.
of a zero, anything less than 3.
Yeah.
That's missed. We missed that. We're like, why do these? How do we? Like. Anyway, it's all these words. It's an interesting game. Like, I feel like obviously it's cool, but it also came out too quickly. Like, it needed another level of polish, I think, for the rules for sure.
Yeah.
Like we took hours just trying to figure out what our starting gear would be. Or like, because it
Yeah.
says you start with 2 items.
Yeah.
Well, what? Where are those 2 items? Do we get good items, or do we get? Then we finally found the word starting, but
Yeah,
it
so
doesn't
you've-
ever say that in
you've
the
got-
book. And
In the
there's
rule
no
book, it
manifest.
tells you start with
ro-
the rags, the
yeah.
fists, and a potion. And then in
And
the
then
game,
it
you start
says-
playing, then you draw your first quest card, and it says, "Oh, you start with 2 items," and it's like, well, I've got 3
Exactly.
here.
Right. That alone should have
Just
been
throws
caught
you.
by
Yeah.
any one person who had never played it before.
Yeah.
You would have fixed that rule. Do you even know what the rule should be?
Yeah.
Is it, do you start with what, the robes and the potion?
You start with the robes, the potion, and the fists, and then you collect 2 items to start you off. So you get to choose from the basic
Right.
deck.
So it should
Not the
say you
basic
should have
deck, but-
5 items total at the end of this, or whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
but
one
basically-
little clarification like that would have
Yeah,
solved an hour of us tormented about like how to start the game.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm just like, let's just start with stuff and like let's figure it out. Like, let's just play.
Yeah.
We just wanted to play in the end, honestly.
I watched the video.
Oh, and then we didn't realize you regenerated your health and your stamina and your magic after a combat.
No health,
But you do regenerate your
dexterity, and your
stamina,
magic.
but
yeah.
not health. But
But
you
not
get
the
all
health.
your health back at the end of the combat.
At the end of the
That's
dungeon.
also a good at the end of the dungeon, which is
Yeah.
also a good tip to
Yeah.
learn how to play the game that you can play it properly.
Yeah,
That was not
because
clear.
You might enchant an item which says after an encounter you gain 1 health.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, what's the point of that? Because I've killed the monster. I gain all my health, magic, and dexterity. And it's no. You gain your dexterity and your magic,
It's
but
these,
not
it's
your
just
health.
a couple little
Yeah.
things would have made this really like
Yeah.
sharp. I mean, I'm kind of fascinated by it, but I mean, I've only played 4 hours.
I am as well, because the more you play it, the more you go, okay, wait a minute, this does feel like Skyrim, because when you go into a stronghold and it's like, I'm going to craft this potion, and then I'm going to enchant this weapon that I found, and then it just feels
Does the
Skyrim.
game fork anyway? Like, I mean, it says decisions matter. Right.
I think not really in the main quest. I mean, I think you can fail. But it's mainly the little mini quests when you do the random encounters with characters and they give you a quest. It might help you find a special weapon, or they might give you, you know, enough XP to level up a
Did
bit
you-
quicker.
Did you play the guy that wants to go hunting down all the vampires? Did you play that one?
Yes, yes.
I feel like you could just miss that. Like, because you basically have to choose whether or not to do that.
Yeah.
And then if you don't, you miss all this fantastic stuff.
And again, you have to wait for the event card to spawn the vampires on the board.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. We didn't go that far.
Yeah, because it says,
Okay.
can you wipe out 3 vampires? Have 3 vampire encounters. And you have to,
can't make
clear
that
them off the
happen.
board.
I see. Yeah, it's got some weird problem. I mean, it's in a fascinating game, but it is definitely, and I do like the combat.
Mm,
Combat's one of the best combat I've played in a long time.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Apart
really
from that
good.
one time
It's
that I
real
said in the video,
decisions. It's real decisions.
it was like, okay, right, I'm rolling for the monster. He's going to summon something. Okay, he's going to summon a Daedra. Okay, all right. And now my turn, I attack the Daedra because the Daedra has to go in front of the summoner. And okay, that's fine. All right, and now it's the monster's turn. He's going to summon another monster. Okay, what
And
do I
that's if you
do?
roll it.
He has 2 monsters. He has 2 summons.
Oh, yeah,
Where's
yeah,
that in the rule book?
Yeah, there's some edge cases there that needed to be hammered out.
Yeah, but then you think logically in the video game, they don't. They only summon 1.
Right.
And the same for
But
yourself.
there would have been
You
a
can't-
nice way. There should have been a star there, like
Yeah.
max 1.
Yeah.
Done. Max 1 time. Otherwise, it does this thing.
But that was the problem that I had. I had this battle where I'd kill the summoned creature, and the next turn he'd summon
He would
another
just keep
creature.
summoning. Yeah, and because that's just a roll. That's a random. Like his AI is just a dice roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had one bad fight, and it annoyed the fuck out of me, and I had to wait till the dungeon deck had emptied.
I'll remember that now that you brought it up.
Yeah.
I'll house rule it just to play that one. I've not looked on BG. I mean, there's like 600 threads on BGG. I'm not gonna read all this stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of them.
Oh
are
my gosh, the
repeated.
Gloomhaven one is going, or the Frosthaven thread is going out of control. The Frosthaven.
Again, I think a
Have
lot
you
of
guys got
questions.
your Frosthaven yet?
No,
No,
Any Frosthaven? No?
I'll never get one.
I mean, I'm sure the game is amazing, but
Yeah.
there is 0 chance I'd ever play it.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven's pretty good, man.
You know, I've told you,
Pretty good game.
my experience with Gloomhaven. It's obvious people really, really love the game. It didn't hit any good chords with me. I was just kind of like, I felt like I was just kind of just churning,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't really feel a narrative. I didn't really feel, you know,
I heard the
and-
narrative is better than this one. I watched the what is the name of those guys? The ones that are in the UK.
shut
AFCA.
up and sit down.
Oh,
No pun.
no pun included.
pun
yeah.
intended.
PI.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a review. They said there's no need to buy any other board games ever again. And then his wife, can't remember her name. Elaine says, she starts pulling her phone and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm searching for a new job." It's a good joke. Yeah, it's got a lot of content.
Yeah.
Did you
Is that
guys?
enough?
You didn't write any of the content for that, right, Lance?
What now? I'm sorry.
You didn't. You don't know anybody or write? Did you? You didn't write any of the content for that, right? Because he was getting all
For which?
the
Say it
board
again.
game community to write content for the game. You were not
No,
part of that.
No. Yeah.
Nor was I.
Um,
It's okay.
Okay.
You could write the soundtrack for it though.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you know.
Oh, did you know yet?
Did you put
I can't
music
play a
to?
single note. I mean, I hammer away and I push the chord, and that's all I can do. And I can play ARPs.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
I can push play on my MIDI. I'm like
That's the fun
Ross,
of it.
friend.
Takes time, Scott.
Yeah, I just don't have. I don't think I have the ability to play. I don't want to learn and honestly. I just like to make the sound.
And annoy Michelle.
She came in my office. I have the doors closed. She comes in, she goes, "Are you working on your music?" I love it. I was like, yes, I'm working on my music.
One day, you never know. One day, I've had friends that turn like
I can
50
jam.
and they just pick up a guitar and they go, I'm going to learn to play this. I've got a bit of time every Sunday, and then all of a sudden they want to jam with you.
There's a guy on YouTube called Dr. Mix.
I know
And
Dr.
he
Mix.
does. Yeah, he's got some really
very
great stuff.
talented. He's very talented. He can play. If I could play like Dr. Mix, I wouldn't be talking to you guys.
Well, no, I mean, he didn't start like Dr. Mix.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Oh, the truth comes out.
I've been
Dr.
playing guitar for 35, 40 years, and it's still not very good. So
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
are you happy with what you do? I mean, here's the thing.
when I pick it
I
up,
will
I'm
push
able
the
to
key on there and push play, make the sound, and I'm giddy. I'm done. I don't have to play a song.
There you go.
There
I
you
just
go.
want to hear the cool sound.
Yeah. You just
Perfect.
go through your library, you go next sound, and you hold one
Exactly.
note
I
and
go
you
through all my
"Oh,
presets,
wow.
and then I start playing with my presets, and then I
What will that sound like down here?
And then I-
Wow.
filter, turn the filter knob, the cutoff, and the resonance. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So
I remember getting my first acoustic guitar at like 11 years old for Christmas one year, and just plucking the strings one at a time just made me laugh. It was such a cool feeling.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then figuring out how to play pop music. Down, 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 just on the top three strings backwards. Down, 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 pop, pop, down, 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 pop music.
Actually, I felt that without fretting any notes, I could play something similar to the Star Trek Old Series theme.
Oh, really?
Just the beginning part of it, kind of
How does
thing.
that go? Burr. How does that go?
Do do do.
Right.
That'd be there. Yeah. Do, do, do. Whatever that was.
Do you have pitch, perfect pitch, Barry?
What do you mean by perfect?
Well, I mean, you can hear a note and be like, "Oh, that's a C."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Not all the time.
It's not perfect pitch, I guess. You can.
It's
you
not
can,
perfect
You have,
pitch,
you have an
but
ear.
I have an ear. If I hear a guitar strum, I can tell you where it is and if it's a bar chord or not bar chord. And yeah, I can kind of pick up some stuff easier than others. It's like I struggled for years to pick up Nick Kershaw songs because they were just all over the place, and it was like the root note was different from the chord, and it was like, what the fuck?
What are his
Whereas
songs?
Howard Jones, it was like, oh yeah, that's simple. It's just, but he's an excellent piano player, so it was like trying to keep up with his fingers. But yeah, I can pretty much pick up stuff.
That's cool.
At the moment, I'm.
When did you start playing?
Hmm?
When did you start playing stuff?
I had classical guitar lessons when I was 8 until about 12.
Your parents made you play that, or you wanted to?
No, I wanted to.
Hmm.
My dad had like a Hank Marvin electric guitar, and I was
Mm.
every now and again just walking around the house with it and figuring out Riders in the Sky and yeah, so I never learned how to read, but I just picked stuff up by ear. And then when I went to bigger school, my music department had all synths, Casios and stuff, and Rolands. And that's it. I was sold on Jean-Michel Jarre, and that was it. I was gone. I was just like keyboards. Guitars would come in every now and again. You know, you listen to a bit of Metallica, and you go, "Oh yeah, I got to play guitar now." You whack it through the distortion, and go, "Yeah, take that." But then, yeah, it'd always come back to synths because it was easier, and I could do brass, and I could do classic piano, and it was easier to compose with than a guitar. So. But yeah,
Should have tried to do something as a kid. Like, I feel it's in me, but I just don't know how to get it out. Like, I just don't want to put the work in. But I think if I did it as a kid, it probably would have been a lot easier. Like, as a kid, you can be forced to do something as a kid, whereas an adult, a little harder.
but then again, I could say the same. I did programming on the ZX Spectrum, and it was like, yeah, this is great. I've created my own game and my own. I've written the story down. And I've got it over there. I've got a story that I wrote when I was 16 years old, which I started programming into a Spectrum. But then it went on to these other languages, and I was like, no, fuck, it's too much work.
Mm.
I didn't start coding till I was 20. Like
Yeah.
real coding, like in
Yeah.
college. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I wrote basic.
Mm.
I was never exposed to any advanced programming languages in school. It's because our schools in the 80s didn't really have computer classes. We had a computer class. How do you turn this thing on? How do you put a floppy disk in?
Yeah.
How do you write a file? Really stupid basic stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
really. I mean,
How do you play Oregon Trail?
We had pets. We had Commodore pets.
I would have liked that. That would at least teach programming.
I
Like,
can
I
remember.
feel like I'm a late bloomer on the programming side.
We had BBC computers.
That was grade 9.
I can remember when I was a kid, I was in like 3rd or 4th or 5th grade or something like that. And we, I got to go to the grade school and summer school. And I got to, because I said it was called Computer Programming for Kids. And I went and I learned how to use, and like, of course, as a kid, I had no idea what any of like this stuff meant as far as like when they said, oh, we're going to learn a computer language or whatever, and we're going to do this and but we got to go and we learned the Logo computer programming language.
Yes.
And I remember when we sat there,
Draw, right?
yeah, and that's when we
Turtle.
draw. And basically, and so our thing was we had to, there were
Pen
like,
down, pen up.
yeah, pen up, pen down.
I never learned that. I knew it, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I
never
just
learned
I
it.
remember we wrote like entire, and I remember it was like one of those things where like my big success, my final thing that I did was I made it make a and I called my program GTNW because I'd just seen the movie War Games and there was global thermonuclear war. So I called it that.
That's pretty good.
And I wanted to
Like
call
the
it global
global
thermonuclear war, and the
thermonuclear
teacher was like, let's shorten that. You'll really get tired of typing that in and everything. So he called it GTNW. But
and you burn up half the memory with it, remembering the letter.
Yeah.
so,
Type that out.
and my entire picture was
On
my
the
entire
screen.
yeah, my entire picture was just this. It drew like a straight line across, and then it drew a moon in the sky, like a crescent moon in the sky, and then it drew like a little like armored personnel character, like basically like this truck that had a big laser gun on the top of it. And that was my final program that I got to, like, I'd run my program and it would create that picture on the screen.
My grade 6 final project for logo was the Iron Maiden logo.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Wow, intense.
That's
Yeah,
way
I'm
more
just-
impressive than me.
The
I was
R
just-
and the O were really hard.
Well, I just remember like the instructions to do like to make the circle, like, to make it draw the
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
Like it was like, because I mean, you learn, if you take any art, or like a circle is just basically a bunch of little tiny angles. I mean, that's what it is. It's just like you're basically so you're just basically drawing these little tiny like,
Dragon lines.
yeah, jagged lines that go around, but when you see them, it looks like a circle. So
That's the basics of computer graphics there, Lance.
yeah.
Pixels.
Yeah, I feel like I missed out. Like, I feel if I had that opportunity, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah, and I feel the same. I
Yeah,
feel I
maybe.
missed out. If I'd carried on programming, be doing video
Yeah.
games or maybe something different.
Pointers really sunk me for programming.
I was the only one that understood it in my Pascal class. They were like, there was something I remember during one of the Q&As, someone was saying, I keep getting an error when the double, and they're like, did you dereference the null pointer? I remember saying that because that was the bug. Like, it was the program problem was designed to make you do a pointer.
Mm.
Yeah, C++
But not-
really ruined me.
Oh, C++.
You were that guy in the class, did you?
No. I didn't. No. I
And
just
I'd
said,
be like, no, Scott, go work on your own stupid program.
no,
I'm
I
fine.
didn't. I was not that person, Lance. I was just in my mind. I'm like, oh, that's a pointer problem. Like because also the errors we got out of the Pascal compiler were like so obtuse. Unless you really knew it, you would not know what it was.
Did you do COBOL, Scott?
No, Pascal only.
I did COBOL. I had to do
Pascal,
COBOL in
C,
college.
C++, no Fortran, no COBOL.
So do you remember remember when you'd be in grade school or whatever, and they'd come and they'd have the Scholastic books or whatever you could get? There were these Scholastic books that actually were like kind of like choose your own adventure type things, but they were
Not the CYA books.
but they would teach you. There were basic programs in it that they would tell you type this program in, and then the program would do something for you. They would solve a problem or a puzzle, and so you'd know what to pick and go to the next thing and fix these things. And I remember I have no recollection of what those were called, but I remember there was one in every single one. And I got them all, and I remember just sitting there in front of my Commodore.
What that is? I don't know.
I'd be sitting there in front of my Commodore 64 at 10 space print quotation,
world.
Yes. Yeah, but I remember.
I would go to every J.C. Penney's and type in that program in the Commodore 64.
What?
Like the 10 print hello world, 20 go to 10.
Yeah. Oh, I would do that too, and then it would just go forever.
Every J.C. Penney, because J.C. Penney had the Commodores.
Yeah, I remember doing that too. Yeah,
and the TI-99s.
I had one of those.
You vandal.
I never had that one. I always wanted it.
I do remember and then after I learned how to do the to have it ask the question, what is 1 + 1? Or I remember figuring out I could do that program, and I do that. And I would go what is 2 + 2? And I would set it up so if you answered 4, it would say, no, dummy, it isn't 4. Try again. So people would be trying to get it to work, and then whatever it put in, no matter what answer, it was 3. No, dummy, it isn't 3. Even if it was 4. No, dummy, it isn't 4. I thought I was clever.
Yeah.
Just taunting and ruining the lives of people that are wandering by. Probably made some kid think that they didn't know math just because I was an evil child.
Yes.
The worst thing about it was I was programming this 3D dungeon where you had to sneak in and dodge these security cameras on the Spectrum, and I'd drawn out the map. And I programmed it also it was jump a square, a bit like was it the Dungeons and Dragons Eye of the Beholder? I don't know if you remember playing that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, fantastic game.
But yeah, it was a bit like that. And then I was getting to the last 3 squares of this map, and I'd run out of memory. It's no. And he's like, oh, I can't program these last 3 squares at 750.
I heard that they're redoing the D&D cartoon.
Oh yeah.
There's a movie coming out.
They're picking it up again for some, maybe not a cartoon, but
that's been in the works for ages, that has.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, they've been doing a live action series.
Oh,
did you see the car commercial? There was a Spanish-speaking country, a car dealership or car manufacturer in some Spanish-speaking country that did a car commercial and had the D&D, as if they get home from the land, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty well done.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, Lance, you would program programs that would make people hate themselves?
Oh yeah, because I was just a jerk as a kid.
Huh, that's interesting.
I was waiting for it. Here it comes. Barry's gonna be funny, everybody.
Yes, I am.
Hold still.
What do you mean, Barry? He's still a kid.
I'm still a kid. I'm only 16 in my head. 20. Physically, I feel 80. So
Hmm.
there's a happy medium there somewhere.
So Skyrim was pretty good. I'm rejuvenated.
Yeah.
I was feeling a little out of sorts last week with the Talatum and like, do I like gaming anymore? You know,
I don't.
I mean, I'm seriously, I was questioning myself. I was like, 2 hours in, I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore. You know, like that feeling is bad.
Yeah. I think that's a case of not having someone on hand to explain it and guide you through it. So you are
Yeah.
just playing. You're not learning. You're playing.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that
I
I
think the
hate gaming.
subject matter of the game, you know, where if it was, I don't know, it's weird. Like I wanted to learn more about the Skyrim and how it all worked and all the stuff, but it's definitely not a Euro. It's more of a Arkham Horror game.
It's
So,
Arkham Horror, which Lance taught me how to play and made me buy. Bastard.
Oh, a million years ago.
Bastard.
that second edition, man, is getting up there in price.
Is
It's
Is
like-
it?
I have everything for it.
I had a friend who
Yeah, so
bought
do I.
a bunch of stuff and paid several $100s for expansions that were not worth that. You know what I mean? They were not.
Oh no,
They
there's that last expansion they did, the Miskatonic
Yeah,
expansion.
that's
It
the
was-
one. That's
that's garbage.
Expensive. Yeah, it's not really necessary even. It's
Oh
not
no,
even-
it's just alternate cards that you can put into, like, if you're used to seeing other stuff, and it really isn't that good.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes you want it though.
Oh no, I remember what
Like,
it,
oh,
it was like.
50 expansions.
I
in
even
there.
I even told you it was like 3-4
I know.
years ago. I said I found
know.
one that they just wanted $60 for shipped, and I was like, "Yep, done." It was on
Yeah.
Amazon,
I remember you told me about that.
and you were like, "Yeah, big whoop."
Did I
Nobody,
say that?
nobody,
That
nobody
doesn't sound like
cares.
me.
Nobody cares, Lance.
That doesn't sound like me.
I don't know. You said something like you did mention it wasn't the expansion really wasn't worth much, and I was just like,
You
Yeah, I
open it up
agree.
and you have to like put all the cards away, and then it's like, well, are you playing the game then? If you like, do you know what you're? I mean, I guess it had markings on it to show that you were like playing the new content. I still wish the game was in print. I mean, I feel like it's one of those games that should have stayed forever.
It
Just
did a new iteration.
It's not as intriguing to me.
Yeah, I know. It's not. I don't like this new edition.
It's a little. I mean, I haven't really given it a full chance. I haven't played anything beyond that first scenario, but I didn't want to even really finish that first scenario. You know, I could see the system as it was and just like annoyed by it. You know,
Mm. One day.
but maybe there's more to it.
That's
So
what
I
I'm
heard
hoping.
the game Don't Let Them In, I think it's called. Hold on, let me tell you the name of it.
Sounds familiar.
My friend Anthony is saying it's awesome. He says it's what Darkest Dungeon should have been. Keep the heroes out. You guys heard of that?
No.
It's a Kickstarter, of course, and he says it's fantastic. It's like what Darkest Dungeon should have been.
"What is this called?"
Keep the heroes out.
Hmm.
He says it's a little like unbalanced, but the potential is high. You know, I don't know much about it except that.
I didn't get in. Plus, I'm not gonna. This looks way too cartoony.
So it's good though.
Looks very.
Here's the thing,
cartoony.
Anthony. I highly every time we talk about games, he's the guy like I go to bounce off. Is this good? Did you like this? He knows everything.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I don't know anything.
But you know, when you play a lot of co-op, you don't even like co-op games, Lance.
That's not true. I got
Okay.
into the hobby because of a co-op game.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought you
Arkham
hated,
Horror is a co-op.
but you don't like Pandemic.
Well, because that's a garbage game.
Okay.
It is.
But
But
then-
Defenders of the Realm.
Do you like
is
Defenders of the
fucking
Realm?
excellent.
Or what's the remake of that? The
I
Guardian-
really liked the Mad Max
Oh.
version of it because it added a lot more chaos, and so you
Freedom
couldn't
5.
just-
is the new one.
No, it was from
Defenders of the Last Stand.
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that Defenders of the Realm was better though. Just
I wrote
more balanced.
wrote a bunch of the cards, bunch of the like adventure cards you turned over for
I mean, I liked
Defenders of the Last Stand for it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I had a good time with it. It just felt like it went on forever. Ever.
Never played that one.
Like I said, and I know it doesn't matter, but I've said this several times. Pandemic is the only, because of the fact that there's no like randomness to it. I mean, when you start playing the game has already decided if you're going to win or lose.
Yeah.
It's like playing solitaire.
But
You know,
that's not true with Rome or some of the other systems.
Well, I'm sorry, I've never played Rome or some of the others because of the fact that I
You just
haven't
throw it all the baby
decided.
out with the bathwater.
Yes,
Throw
because
out the
there was
bathwater.
only the one game. I mean
Fuck that
I'm not
baby.
telling anybody they can't have fun playing the game. They
Okay.
can have all the fun they want, the world they want. If you put Pandemic in front of me, I can be like, yeah, we'll have fun.
Sure.
Enjoy, let me
We
know if
will.
the game. Let me know how the an hour from now. Let me know what the game decided whether or not you win or lose. I don't like that. I mean, even if
That's
like
not-
even
it's
even
not
if
gonna
even
work
if
for
like I
us.
get to the end of Arkham Horror and they say, well, the only way you'll win is if you roll 6 sixes in a row. I want that chance. I want that chance to roll 6 sixes in a row.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Who really likes the new FFG since they were taken over? It's been a few years and they are a shell of their former self, unfortunately. Yeah, what have they come? I mean, it's
I will.
definitely a different kind of company.
It is a different company, and I'll say this: the new
That's
Arkham
from
Horror
Eric
is
Bergman.
garbage. Is total garbage.
Total
Third
garbage.
edition is not
Have you
good.
played it though?
I played it twice. I thought
you have to-
Outer Rim was good, but super long.
Yeah, Outer Rim was not my jam.
Well, I mean,
Too
it was
long,
like,
yeah.
why did I take 3 hours to get this point? Right? I mean, I don't enjoy that anymore.
I mean, I
I
wanted to like Star Wars Outer Rim more than I did.
mean, obviously, Twilight
I couldn't
Imperium
put my
is,
finger on it. Just doesn't work. It didn't work right.
Twilight Imperium is a gold standard. You can't really screw that up.
I've never
I mean,
played it.
And at least when I sit down for Twilight Imperium, I realize, hey, I'm going to be here for a while. I
Bring a
mean,
snack.
yeah, I'm not lying to myself at all. I don't know. I mean, like, here's the deal with that. Fantasy Flight Games, I took great pride, one, that they were a Minnesota-based company. Two, it was just one of those things where they were like the bastion of like, hey, we're Ameritrash, and that's what we do. We put 1,000 minis in this box.
They did Puerto Rico for TI4, whatever.
Yeah, but
I don't care.
But you know what I mean. It
You
was
know,
like
I know what you
when you got these are our releases for this year. It was like, oh, what are they gonna put out? You were so excited, when you got to see
Yeah,
like
yes,
what
it
was
was-
the new. It's like, and then you'd be like, oh man, I mean, I remember when they announced Battlestar Galactica, and I was like, oh my gosh, this game looks amazing, and I mean, they're not that company. No, I mean, they're just.
Yeah, it's been gutted.
It is an absolute. I mean, the phrase "milk toast." They're a shadow of what they were. I'm still upset that they never published Reigns of Power. That was their like. Oh, it was an old game that they announced at Gen Con 15 years ago or something like that. It was going to be
Reigns of Power.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably not even, that it was this big, giant,
Is it
epic.
still on BGG?
It might be, I mean, but it never got published. And
It's Reigns of War.
Reigns of War, maybe that's what.
Is that it?
Maybe, but it was going to be this giant, epic
No, that's not it.
monster of a game, and it just died. It just never happened.
Oh wait, there's Reigns of Power. I remember this.
Yeah, remember, and they talked
Corey
about it.
Konitska and Christian T. Peterson as the designers. Coming
Yeah.
fall 2006,
Yeah.
not final graphics.
Yeah, and it just it just never happened, right? I mean, but it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be this. I mean, and like that box just looked amazing, and it just
I know.
like
Uh,
it's a huge board game of contemporary or near future geopolitics, superpower diplomacy, and global conflict. Each player takes on the role of the head of state of a world power from the US to the European Union and attempts to steer this power to global supremacy. Each player also takes on the role of another player's domestic political opposition and attempts to thwart the player's every move, execute regime change in third world countries, combat terrorism, and project your power with carrier battle groups. Expect lots of plastic figures, including carriers, submarines, tanks, and mushroom clouds. Lots of
sounds like-
cards, dice,
World
markers,
Three,
and
yeah.
other great components. It was basically everybody assumed it was just going to be the Fantasy Flight's take on supremacy. That was, and it was just like,
I wonder if it still exists. Like some
No.
well, I mean, it's like it probably exists like it probably exists like the Sid Meier's Pirates, the board game exists, and in Glenn
Yeah,
Drover's
someone's mind.
like in Glenn Drover's basement, I got to see it. I got to see what he had made for it, and I was just like, let's play. And he said, no, the game's horrible. Which everyone whenever I talk to Glenn, I end up talking to him every once in a blue moon. I tell him that now that he's got his own publishing company, he should go back into that and rework it, because the world still needs a really, really great pirate game. And
Does
it
it?
just it does. It absolutely needs
Isn't,
it needs a sandboxy.
Isn't what's it called? That one from Z-Man?
Well, the
Merchants and
Merchants and
Marauders.
Marauders was
Marauders.
Merchants and Marauders, especially with the expansion, is quite good.
Yeah.
It is.
I never played it, but
And that's my big claim to fame. That when I ended up talking to Christian Markuson, the designer, like we exchanged a few emails, because I said that, yeah, so this is what we do. This is the variant we play, so people can't just play the hide in ports strategy to hide away from the pirates. And then he agreed that it was good, and like it was like his official like variant or whatever. He made it
Okay.
like, and something like that. So that's another one of my little minor claims to fame.
there's so many games I haven't played. Like
No.
like never played Merchants Marauders. I never played that. Never played
Sorry, this is a Pirates game. So I was thinking about this. I was at the Barnes and Noble the other day, and I saw in the gaming section they had this thing that was the Sid Meier something or whatever, and it was actually like a book supposedly written by, I mean, I shouldn't say supposedly, but it says Sid Meier wrote it about,
I think he wrote
like,
it.
yeah, like about like, and there was like a signed edition. He had signed like Barnes and Noble every once in a while, like, they get like a handful of books that have a sign that they're signed in the beginning. But anyway, so this book had like it was Sid Meier talking about, oh, this is how I designed Civilization, and this is how I did this, that, and the other thing. And I was just kind of paging through it, and then there was this chapter called Ahoy. And I was like, oh, that's got to be about the pirate game, which Sid Meier's Pirates, in my opinion, is like that. When I played it on the Commodore 64, I mean, it was like literally that game was, I mean, there was nothing like it. It was like the fact that it was a completely open world that you could, just do whatever you wanted. It just didn't exist. That type of game didn't really exist back then. And I remember playing that, and then I was like, oh man, I'll speed read through this little chapter, and it was just all fluff. I was just like, man,
Oh,
it's
nothing
like,
solid.
yeah, nothing solid. It was just I was sitting
You
there
should
and I
write
was,
to Sid Meier and say, "Can I interview about pirates?" and do a definitive.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. What do you want to
So-
see as a show?
Oh, that Dungeons and Dragons commercial based on the 80s cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
That looked amazing.
Oh, what is it?
It's in the chat. There's a link to the.
Oh, a link to
video.
it.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about this AI artwork? These Kickstarter shut down AI art projects today.
No, nothing about it.
Shut down here.
Friend of mine posted that people, so AI artists are getting pissed off because other AI artists are copying their prompts word for word, and they're calling it plagiarism.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
And,
That's not real. There's no way.
I wouldn't doubt it.
yeah,
Nah,
I'm sure
that just
there's
sounds,
somewhere.
that sounds made up. But okay.
I don't think so.
What do you mean Kickstarter is not allowing AI art? What I don't understand.
So there was some AI art based projects. I don't know what they were. I didn't see any of them. They got shut down today or yesterday or something. I think it was.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
that
how you
commercial looks pretty good.
Wasn't it though?
That's a car commercial.
I know, right?
Oh, annoying. How annoying is this? What? Wow,
Yeah.
that's really something.
We were talking about that old commercial.
What was the name of that guy? Veger? Wait,
Venger.
Veger.
Venger.
Venger. Veger's from
Veger,
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek.
Veger was Star Trek
Veger
1.
was the Star Trek. Venger's the.
Oh, has
Yeah.
anyone seen the third season of what is it, Below Decks? They do this one episode which is just like a throwback to everything old
Oh yeah,
school
yeah, it was
movies.
awesome.
Oh, that was fucking excellent. Oh,
Wow, that commercial.
That's one of my
that's 2
favorite
years old.
shows.
That commercial's 2 years old.
I know.
Mm.
It's been up for a while. Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows. That Below Deck or Lower Decks. See, back when
Terminator.
remember the
2
Lower
reference
Decks
at the end of it.
episode from Star Trek Next Generation?
no. Oh yes. Yes, where it's like the cast member, the crew down who weren't the main cast, the main principal cast, and you see their life from there. I think Babylon 5 did an episode like that as well.
I said to my friend, I said, this would be an amazing series.
Mm.
And then I said, even if they did like a Starfleet Academy series, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And then they came up with this. I'm like, yep, I'm down.
Yeah. I wasn't too hooked on the first 2 seasons. This third season is just like one great episode after another, and it was just like, yeah, this is what it should have been from the beginning.
Yeah.
But maybe the humor was just a bit above my head because I'm an original Trekkie, not much next gen, so a lot of the jokes were going above my head, I think.
Oh, okay.
Whereas season 3, the jokes were landing and hitting with me. So yeah,
I get you.
So AI art,
yeah. Sorry.
just whatever. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to talk about. but it's
Okay,
just
well,
interesting.
here's my opinion on it.
Mm.
Is that I think, you can't unring the bell, right? I mean, it's like,
No, yeah,
I mean,
at what point?
and there should be some way to control whether or not like somebody's work is being co-opted and being bastardized and being stolen. And I don't know how to fix
that
it.
genie's out of the bottle. Yeah, I mean, you can't put that back in the bottle.
And frankly,
No.
since I'm not an artist, Matt should be the one answering this question. And because it probably affects him more than anything. I mean, the thing about it is that it's like the old Jeff Goldblum thing where it's like, just because you had the ability to do it, did you ever stop to think maybe was it something you should do?
Yeah,
in the
no,
first
it's definitely
place?
one of those things. They did it
And
too quickly.
And I'll say this, what I do not like is the comparisons that people make to like saying things like, oh, well, why didn't you get into an uproar when, robots started assembling cars, taking jobs away from, car assembly workers and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well, okay, I probably should have said something about that. I should have probably said something that sucks. And I
But-
don't know, but I mean, I just don't see it as the same
is
thing.
different than I think than art, isn't it?
Not really.
I don't know. See, that's just, and I'm probably not
I
the
guess-
best
I
person
guess
to
the
answer, but people spend money, right, to go to school to learn how to do it better, right? So is that different from somebody? And again, I'm asking these questions, and I don't know what the answer is. is that different from somebody that like say, hey, I went to school for, whatever, 6 years and spent all this money on my degree to be, a better welder or something like that. And then they find out, oh, well, no, we got this robot that does your job, and all we gotta do is turn on the switch. So I don't need you anymore. I mean,
I guess that is similar. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I mean, what this all kind of dovetails for me
guess-
into is the fact that we're moving into more and more automation everywhere. Name a big store that, other than like Aldi, that doesn't have a self checkout line at this point. I mean, we're moving into a space where people aren't going to have, like, I don't know, you're not going to have kids working at burger joints anymore because, the machine's going to make the burger for you, and I don't know. I mean, hopefully this transcends itself to a point where we're doing universal basic income and we don't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
I don't know. My opinion as far as automation and AI and stuff like that. If you look at art and something that is, survives the effort, once the effort is expended, apart from like manual labor, putting stuff together and stuff like that, there's a piece of art at the end of this effort that survives, that goes forward on its own. And it's the IP of the brainchild of this person. And I think that's different than somebody working a factory line. So, the fact that other people this AI thing is using these creations of millions of creations made by artists, whether it's music or prose or art or visual media, it's to using them as data to create something else. Whereas, I don't know,
if you apply that to the world of film and television, where you have someone that has to compile all the background sounds because they don't record them with the video, that's the same thing. You're basically taking a recording that someone else has done, like of a forest and then a car, and then you're piling them together. So it's
sound library is the same thing.
Yeah. And again, that's my job.
But there is an analysis of that can be detected.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not so sure AI art can be detected,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think there is certainly a place for AI art. I don't see it as if I were to be the art director for a project, a project that needed card art, I would never generate the characters or stuff like that using AI. I might do textures. I might do some things that can go in the background or something like that is really not the focus of the thing, because I require too much curation of the final piece that can't be done. You can't say to the engine, you know what, can you make his ring actually span 2 fingers instead of just the one, or whatever it is. You can't do that. It's like you'd get back something that is just, first of all, whenever you put a
Photoshop,
modify a prompt, in my experience, it doesn't generate just a minor variation. It's a completely different piece of art. So that's not helpful, because if you really loved it, if it was like 95% there, but you wanted to change the way his hair fell on his shoulders, you're done. It's gone. It's just, I don't know. It's just so, yeah. I would never use it for a game. I would use stock before I'd use that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just,
I think it's coming now. It's sort of an avalanche.
Sure.
Yeah.
It came from nowhere and hit really hard. It was like the world was obsessed with it.
Or it could be a fad too. You don't know. It's still early. Yeah.
Possibly.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, interesting that Kickstarter shut down the projects
Yeah.
because they
Right.
want human-made creations, right?
Dude,
But here's the deal, I mean,
That
like,
was the statement. I think that's what they
or, I
isn't
mean,
it?
and kudos to Kickstarter for taking a stand. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, you know, whatever. But is that something where now Kickstarter is going to say, we need you to sign this thing that says that all this art was created by humans in every single board game they publish? I mean, is that, and then like, and how do you, I mean, how do you like figure that out, that if it's
says
done
the
or
tech is
not?
really new and we don't have all the answers.
Mm.
So professors now are talking about people submitting essays that are written.
It's already happening.
Yeah. So not only are
The
there,
chatbot.
but the cool thing about it is not only are there tools to write the essays, but there are also tools that have been created to spot AI written essays.
So it's going to be an anti-missile, missile,
Yeah.
anti-missile, missile.
Uh,
You know,
So
like
the
that kind of
crazy,
thing.
the crazy thing with those things is that the it's I mean, and this is a weird parallel, but it's like enhancement drugs in sports.
Yeah.
The technology to take the drug and hide it is always, you know, like steps ahead of the tests to find it as
Yeah.
well. You know, so I mean, as long as there's money to be made, you know, those there's the famous urban legend, of course, where they talk about like oh, I got this big final in my philosophy, a paper I got to write for my philosophy, and they're like, oh no, you just got to give them this it's an A every single time. And he's like, what? Yeah, like the frat, you know, we always turn this one in if you don't have it. And he's just like, oh, okay, and then he turns it in, and then the grade comes back and it's like, great paper, it gets better every time I read it, A+. Yeah, it stinks, right? I mean, it's just like, and I know, and I'm not, you know, I don't know where I stand on it. It's one of those things where I know that there's bad eggs in every pot, right? So it's one of those things where I know a lot of publishers that, this isn't us. I'm not saying I know this guy. I'm talking about this person. This isn't us at all. I mean, we have like 3 or 4 artists that we have 3 or 4 artists that we work with all the time, and we have one person who does layout, and they're all fantastic. And Shane compensates them very well for their time, and you know, it's
They
it's
fit in the
great
corner of the room in
relationships.
the desk.
Yeah. So, but no, like, but I've talked to publishers like all the time when they're like, yeah, you know, I this person's supposed to get me, you know, whatever, 50 pieces of art for these cards, and you know, and it's, you know, 5 months, and you know, they've, you know, it's just like, and they've got like 15 cards done, you know, and they're ripping their hair out because, you know, they need that stuff. And then and this, you know, and I mean, and again, that isn't all artists, that's a small percentage, but I mean, those are the people that they have 2 or 3 bad situations like that where they just they can't get the output that they want, that they're going to go AI. They're going to say, screw this, you know, I'll buy my credits and I'll you know, if I need 30 pieces of art for these 30 cards, and I can just type in, you know, night slaying troll, and I can get, you know, 20
I
options.
see the benefits of it, but I also see the perils. I mean, it's a double-edged sword for sure.
But well, I mean, okay, but here's my question, and I'm not trying to argue both sides of the coin here. I mean, what really is the peril? I guess if well, I mean, and the peril that I see is that eventually artists stop making stuff, right? So the well goes dry. Like, as far as where the AI has,
Well, it's not. Also, it will be such a commodity that it doesn't make sense to hire an artist at some point.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
the industry right now looks at art as such a commodity anyways, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
What should it look at it, Matt? I'm not saying this to be like grouchy or anything like that. I mean, we look at it as contract work, right? And you know, and we just
Yeah, but
say,
it's not it's not, if you go to somebody that say, I don't know, makes you a wooden doorstop, and you need, if it does the job, it does the job, and they're pretty much all equal. It's a widget. Art's not that.
Mm.
All art is not equal, and
I
No,
think
it's
no,
a
I would agree. I would agree. And
so I think you can't commoditize art.
well, you know what's really weird, Matthew, and this is again, this
Matthew.
isn't me trying to.
I felt that very large emphasis on that comma.
No,
Matthew.
no. This is what's weird is that I mean I have been, I recently got my thing where it showed me that like basically it's been 6 years that I've been working in board game publishing, which is absolutely bananas to me. But
congrats.
yeah, it's been great. No,
Talk to me at 23.
yeah, no. So
Not that I've been in publishing for that long, but board games.
yeah. So it was one of those things where there was a weird time, and it only lasted for it lasted for a very brief window. I mean, I'm guessing less than 2 years, where if you got certain artists to do the work on your board game, it actually helped sell the game. Now, I'm not saying that like art doesn't help sell the game. If you have fantastic art for a game, people are going to see it and say, wow, this art's really cool. Right. And that's definitely going to help like certain genres or whatever. But there was a weird window where it was like, oh yeah, Michael Menzel did all the art for this. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's like, yeah, Menzel art's amazing. Or, you'd say, I can't even think of his name right now. Oh shoot. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. So, but then like what happened is that those people, there was like a handful, like 6 or 7 that like people, they were like they were people that were known for doing board game art.
Yeah.
And for a while there, it was like, it actually, you could point to it as saying you got more people putting eyes on the game. But then what happened, and this is just my opinion, this is no definitive realization or anything like that, I don't have data to back this up, was that there were a lot of games that came out, and there was absolutely one that TMG published that used one of these like big time artists, and the game wasn't very good, and it was like and it took a dump after it came out, and so you had it. What?
Talk about Quanchai or something?
Yeah, Quanchai. There you go. Thank you.
Quanchai Moria.
Fantastic human being,
Easy.
super nice guy,
Yep.
and
Excellent artist.
and an excellent artist, right? So people, I think, got a little bit burned. They were like, oh yeah, I got this game and it's got Quanchai art, or I got, and it's no fault of the artist whatsoever. I mean, like, you go to the artist and you say, hey, I need this, that, and the other thing. Can you make these pieces of art? Yeah, here's the art. Wow, this art's amazing. Thanks so much. Yeah, no problem. Oh wow, we put diamonds on a turd, I mean, which is absolutely, like things that happen. So I think that window kind of closed a little bit, and I do think that like,
What window is that?
the window of like a named artist doing the art for a game, like actually propelling that game to a higher standard or to a higher level of sales, that's over. I mean, that just doesn't. I mean, I just, the name doesn't, I don't think, carries anymore. I mean,
I might be biased about that, but
no, and like I said, my opinion is just my own, and I could be
That's like
absolutely
your
100%
opinion,
wrong. Yeah, that is just like I will say all day long that I think that that art, really, really awesome looking art, absolutely will sell a game. Absolutely will sell a game, and
Well, good
just
games
like garbage art will make people go, yeah, I'm not buying this. This looks stupid as hell.
You know what's funny? So I was talking to somebody the other day. Actually, I was having lunch with a colleague yesterday, and
Dawn of Mankind, by the way, Lance.
What?
You talking about
Yeah.
Dawn of Mankind? Oh, okay. Wasn't that game good?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it was not good.
This is, and I will say this all day long. There was somebody within our company that never, fucking ever should have been given the ability to greenlight a game.
Oh,
Because if I had played that game once, I would have pointed out the like 3 or 4 massive problems that game had, and maybe it could have been fixed. But instead, we published.
I remember
this
that game
turd.
looked pretty cool. Oh, I wonder what.
Oh, it was. But anyway.
Well, anyway, whatever.
You were saying something, Matthew?
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah,
Sorry.
He
we're
forgets.
just
that.
just talk over the artist again.
So I remember working at Alcatel Lucid, and we were doing this thing, and I'm like, oh, we need a poster for this. You know what? My friend Remy, he's amazing. He's an awesome illustrator. He can do this stuff good for us. At the time, Remy was doing commissions for Wired, for McDonald's, for New York, the New Yorker, a lot of big names. We got him to do the poster, and we got him to quote on it. And he's like, "Yeah, that'll be $20,000." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. We don't have $20,000 for that." He's like, "Okay, I can do it for 12." After that, I'm like, "Okay, that's still like probably 5 times what we thought we could pay for it, or could get it for." That was one of the first, being on the buying end, that was one of the first times that I was like, okay, all things aren't equal here.
Right. Once you start getting into a non-commoditized price of an asset,
Yeah.
then you have to start making
Yeah.
what does the art bring beyond its creation? You know
that
there
dude that does the donuts and robots paintings.
No, but
So there's this
I've seen
guy.
it.
He's a
A
famous
good
painter.
guy.
He does
famous
basically
guy.
all of his stuff is donuts and robots
Okay.
together, and
Got it.
and we were doing the donut shop game with Chad, and we reached out to him. We're like, hey, we're looking to get, he's never done a board game cover before. We're like, we want to get this done. He's like, yeah, I can do this for I don't know, $8,000.
Yeah.
We're like,
Right.
yeah.
You're looking for like $200.
Well, no, we were looking for like 1,500.
So using that logic, does that make AR art okay? You know what I mean? Like, you're willing to not pay an artist what their value is because they value themselves at a certain number, and you have valued at this number. I'm just using it as a like a devil's advocate. Like,
yeah,
I think is that yeah.
I'm still trying to form my opinion on AI art, but I think a lot of the issues that a lot of people have with it is the building blocks that AI stood on to create the art.
That's
creating.
not cool. Yeah, and I don't know if that's ever going to be undone. Unless
AI,
the government somehow shuts it down.
If AI could have generated this stuff out of the ether,
yeah,
then yeah, it's a completely legitimate,
or out of the work of the creator of the AI. So like,
yes.
if Pixar designed all their animations and created all their characters, and they put that into the generator, and it generated art just using everything that they've done, that's fine, isn't it?
A body of their own work, absolutely,
yeah,
100%, because it's a tool that they're using to
right. Maybe that's
streamline
the
their
solution.
process.
Is the AI art is a tool for that artist, but not a replacement for that artist.
But the thing that a lot of people are having issues with, it's essentially stealing the work from other people to create new work based off of it.
It's like samples in music. It's
it is
sound effects as well. I can't create a sound effect.
Yeah,
I have to
actually think of
actually
movies,
physically create a sound effect from other sound effects, and then I'm not infringed by copyright.
I'll be right back.
I watched a video of somebody who was, their job is to create footsteps in movies.
Foley.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, so cool. Just because and they were explaining how they do certain things. Because it's a full-size man, but he had to create the sound of a child coming downstairs.
Yeah.
So he sat on a chair, so his feet were lighter.
Right.
And it was just or so amazing. Or sometimes you use your fingers for like little mice or something.
Yeah, yeah. Or you actually just get the little shoes of a child and you put little stonkers on them and you just again you can do so many things with After Effects as well. So you can change the pitch.
Yeah. So I
It's-
mean, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what my stance is on this. I'm not an artist. I am an assembler.
Mhm.
You know, I work in a creative field, but I can't say that most of what I do is not generated out of the from nothing.
Can I ask a question? Do not artists ask for like commission? So like you pay like an upfront fee of like 1,000, and then they take a bit of the profits for each copy that's sold.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because that always seems like always a good idea, especially if it's like a game that sells well. You know.
Yeah. It depends on the artist, depends on the publisher, depends on the game.
All right.
You know, it's you get Quanchai working on something, you know, and if it's just if it's a money gig that, you know, might not sell more than the 5,000 copies, but if it's an evergreen, if it has the possibility of being an evergreen title, then yeah, let's you know, like if you were to do the work on like Frosthaven, for instance, it's like whoever did the work on that artist wise, if they didn't have royalties in their deal, I don't, they need a new approach.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It really is.
It's a weird. It's a small niche inside of a bigger. You know, it's a weird. The board game industry art itself. You know, it's like most artists have no idea how to make art for a board game. You know, I'm sure they could figure it out, but it's not what they would go towards. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right, Barry.
I'm sure this was the same conversation people have like when the camera came around and other forms of technology. Although this is a little different.
Those talkies, man, they screwed everything up.
Yeah, poor old Charlie Chaplin. He'd be famous by now if it wasn't for those talkies. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you on this note and say Merry Christmas. Have a good New Year.
Merry Christmas
Merry
to
Christmas.
you,
Thank you for
Barry.
putting up with my shit.
Anytime, dude.
Well, I would say
Oh,
anytime.
it was interesting
Most
to
of the
see you do a
time.
review. Have you done? I don't know. Have you been doing those lately? I don't know.
No, I've done 2 reviews in 2 days, and I haven't done any since I did Rise and Fall. I'm just doing them when I can, and when I feel passionate about something.
Thought about that for sure. So appreciate it. I
Yeah,
know
no
it's hard to
problem.
get noticed at all these days in the world of board game media. But
Yeah.
But
I
is it
started
on B-
charging.
Did you
and
post it
went
on
down.
BGG?
Sorry.
Did you post it on BGG?
Yeah, it's on BGG.
Okay,
So
cool.
thank
I
you,
saw it on
thank you,
Facebook.
BGG.
Well, hopefully that can bring some audience. I mean,
It has. So
cool.
That's the great thing about BGG. You post something there, and you still get people going, "Oh, how does the rules on this work?" Oh, it was a video. Bloom. Yeah.
What
So
was the other game you did?
I did Sea Salt and Paper.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, I love that game.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just review when I can. I'm too busy with music at the moment, so I'm like
Keep it
doing.
up.
I'm doing that. Yeah, those flashing lights behind you are like really tempting me to push the flashing lights which are on here.
I wish I had a demo mode for that. Actually, it's on.
Yeah, I can see the flashing lights going on.
I was doing some noise. You hear it? You hear that?
No.
Can't hear it. Can't. It's probably getting too noise canceled or something. Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Well, have a good New Year.
You too.
You
the
as
best.
well.
Yeah.
Brother.
Cheer up,
Are you
lads.
going to be back next week?
Maybe.
We getting together next week? Is next week? When is New Year's?
Hey, February 25th.
Sunday.
On a Sunday.
You wanna fly to Moorhead, Minnesota, and play some board games with me?
February.
Yeah.
I can't. There's lots of family birthdays in February.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
I'm sure it'd be cheap to come here too. So
Yeah. Why would it be cheap to go there?
From France.
I don't know. I'm kind of making that up, but Kevin Burkhartzmeyer is going to be playing there, so you can hang.
Is
with him.
he? I would love to, but February's a bad time, and
Also,
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Transatlantic.
Money's bad as well. I need to buy some more instruments, which are going to cost me a good couple of grand. So
What do you got? More keyboard?
yeah,
Just have the AI make the music for you.
That's the next step.
There's the
Yeah.
next step,
Music.
baby.
don't say that. Jean-Michel Jarre's already done that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like the old story where it was like when they came for the Protestants, I said nothing, and when they came for and finally when they came for the Catholics, there was nobody to say anything.
And when they
stop them.
came to replace the workers on the worker line for building cars with robots, I said nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the automated line in my grocery store was put into play, I said nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually
and when
went
I
and
started
asked for someone
watching,
to check us out the other night because I'm like, I have a huge giant basket and I am not going to be able to get it done at any time. Like, we went and asked someone else to check us out a different place.
Hmm. Anyway, peace, love, hugs to all.
Take care, brother.
care.
Good one.
Ciao.
Bye, Barry. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So we didn't get to talk about the shipping thing that Kickstarter just announced too.
Well, so you mentioned that, and you said the thing about Easy Ship, and I was like, why does that sound familiar? And I was like, I know why it sounds familiar, because we used Easy Ship once, and they did a horrible job fulfilling stuff for us. So, I mean, and I say this thing about a lot of, there isn't a single fulfillment company that isn't having issues right now. It is tough damn work to get people to do this stuff, and it is, and it's not easy shipping stuff out, man. And I don't say that lightly. I am sadly going to have to put out an update that's going to throw Greater Than Games under the bus, but I mean, frankly, it's just one of those things where it's like we're at wit's end with them. I mean, they've had our games since October, and we still can't get everything out to people. And it's just like, and I don't know, it just sucks. And I my heart goes out to them. I realize that they're dealing with technical issues, and they've dealt with software issues, and they've dealt with staffing issues, and they've dealt with personal issues. And I mean, they're underwater as much as anybody. But when, and to be fair, the vast majority of the things have been delivered to our backers. There's only like, I mean, but that does, if there's 15% of the people that are still waiting for their stuff, well, that's 15% of thousands of people that are fucking pissed, and it's just kind of like, and every single day they don't get their game is another day that they will tell anybody who'll listen the Gray Fox game sucks. So
is it time to move on from crowdfunding now? Or you'll take the
no,
lumps? I mean,
no.
you basically will take the lumps because of the
You have to take
the
lumps,
never ending
'cause-
fountain of money that keeps coming at your way for games.
Yes.
No, I mean
Yes.
it's the cost of doing business, right? I mean, but here's one of the things that we're going to probably end up doing is unless it's a campaign that, I mean, like we couldn't do it for Last Light, and because Last Light's going to be so huge, and it's just because I think we got like 7,000 pledges for it now or something like that. It's just too many, right? And with all the late pledges and the stuff and during the Kickstarter and everything, it's just too many games. And the problem there is that, but for smaller stuff like Bazaar, Zubar, and stuff like that, or even like if it's just 1,000, we'll just do it ourselves. I mean, it'll suck, right? But it's going to be something where I'll fly down to St. Louis, and me and Shane and
Oh, you mean you'll ship it yourselves?
yeah, we will spend a week printing off labels, slapping them on boxes, and just doing it ourselves, and just work 10-12 hour days, get them out the door. It'll be cheaper and you know, and we'll do it, right? And then just, and it'll stink, and you know, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, what else are we gonna do? I mean, I mean, everybody, it seems like anybody who ever tells me, oh, I'm working with company X that to ship this stuff out, and they're amazing. And it's like, and it seems like as soon as we go to that company that ships out X and we start working with them, it's just like, you know, I mean, they just, you know, you might as well have guys putting live scorpions in the boxes and sending them out for how well they're doing. And it's just, you know, I don't know. It's frustrating. It is so frustrating. And I'm saying it's frustrating, but I mean, you know, who's really frustrated are backers. The people that are like, yeah, I gave you money for this game.
Yeah, it's
2 years
interesting,
ago.
like,
Where is it?
I'm curious how that will affect future.
You should
will
open up a fulfillment company. They're
Why would I
Scott?
want that pain?
you ship stuff
It
money.
sounds like everybody wants to. What can I do that nobody else is doing?
Well, but you have a warehouse. You
Right,
ship
but-
stuff out.
Yeah, but not that kind of, I mean. I think the economics are not valid. I mean, I like to pay our people money.
But
Like,
there is
I'm not gonna go into the numbers, but it's better.
I'll say this. I'll scream this from the top of the highest mountain in the world. If somebody out there can crack the code and make a fulfillment company that actually works, there is a
I don't think
fortune.
anybody would go for it.
There is piles of gold lying on the ground, just
Yeah,
waiting for
I
somebody
mean,
with a shovel.
I would like to, yeah, I mean, and you'd be paying for it. Like, that's my only way to do it would be to charge them probably a premium. And you wouldn't probably not be willing to pay it, right? Because there's always a cheaper place.
Yeah, but one of the things that everybody like forgets is that
That's not
now,
my business though.
to be
I don't-
fair,
I don't like to go down the, I mean, I like to think about it, but I don't like to take it seriously.
the thing that people forget, and to be fair, it is something that, like, you know, a lot of people won't touch, right? Is that it is it's easy to like think, I guess, like these other companies out there that are, I mean, like I said before, there isn't a single fulfillment company out there that doesn't have somebody breathing down their neck and saying, you know, this is what you do is horrible, and
Yeah, you're messing up our businesses and you're opening yourself up to liability, right? Because you have all these eggs in your basket that are in a control of another company.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a liability for me. I don't know. There was no way I could be doing that. But I mean, I know what you're saying. It seems so easy. Like, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be so easy. Put thing in box.
Amazon does it.
Put label on box. Well, yeah, and they treat their employees like they're turds. So,
Sure. But you don't pay very much for it.
well,
What do we pay now a year? $90 a year for free
well,
shipping?
well, the thing about fulfillment and stuff like that is that the people, like any good Kickstarter person, will figure out, hey, it'll cost me $15 or $14 it'll cost me this much money to go to this company and have them send this 4-pound box to whoever, right? And they'll either quote the full shipping amount in their pledge manager, because you don't quote it in the
Yeah, you don't quote it in the
you don't quote in the
fund phase.
Kickstarter because you don't let them take that money.
Just cut your own throat.
Yeah, so but you'll quote that in the pledge manager, and I mean, and you make them pay it, right? You make your backers pay it. So it doesn't matter if you go to a premium company that's like, yeah, we'll $30 to
Right,
ship.
but then
this.
you'll get a mad backer paying too much. Like,
Well, I
CMON
mean,
did
I
that,
guess
and
it's one of those
they
things where
probably actually came
you
up
know-
with the right number that they needed to charge, and then
Yeah.
everybody freaked out.
Well, it's like one of those things where it's like you always get this thing where like people are like, yeah, it's taking a lot of work to get this stuff freighted out of China. And you always have somebody who pipes up and goes, well, have you looked into manufacturing in the United States? Well, here's the thing that sucks about that is that one, it costs more, and 2, it isn't made as well. And you can say all day long that it's just like, oh, it's American made. I'm sure absolutely there is stuff that is made in America that is absolutely freaking amazing. But I guarantee,
Pinball machines are made in America.
yeah, you cannot find a company, and this is just my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but you cannot find a company in the United States that will make board game components as well and as cheap as China does. So it's one of those things. You want it, it's like you want it done cheap, you want it done well, you want it fast. You get 2. And it's just like, well, I want it cheap and I want it done well. Well, then it's going to take a while. And in America, it's just like you want it, it's just like you can count out the cheap and you can count out the do it well. It'll get shipped to you quick. I mean, well, I'll say this: if you all you want is like a box that holds 100 playing cards, you can find a guy in America to make that for you. You're going to pay more for it, but you'll have it fast. You'll have it fast.
There's plenty of companies that do that.
It'll be good. And
there's one right across the street from the BGG building. In fact, Carter Monday.
But you're going to pay for it, right? And I'm not opposed to paying for stuff, but I mean, it's just kind of like there's always somebody. Oh, well, they publish in here, and there. Well, great. I mean, there's a reason why everybody goes to China. Is it because we all hate America? I don't know. It's infuriating.
No one says that.
Oh, there's a lot of people.
Anybody who says that doesn't really understand the global supply chain.
Yeah.
And how reliant and dependent we are on all of those goods coming from China.
And that's another one. You can't unring the bell there either, right? I mean, it's just kind of like because now we won't, nobody's gonna go anywhere else to get their stuff made. I don't know. It's all garbage, and it's just everything sucks, and everybody thinks they have the answers, and everybody thinks they know, and everybody it's just like I tell anybody who listen, if you think
there's an answer, I don't think anybody wants to do it though. Crowdfunding is not the answer. The answer is not use crowdfunding. Make things at your own risk, at your own time, and then
who's going to do that?
Exactly. Nobody. That's what I said. You've got an endless supply of free money with no taxes and no interest, and boom, games. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
An endless supply of free money. Yes, please. I put art. I pay my little. I pay my.
Do you remember the
couple $1,000s of art, Matt?
Do you remember? Do you remember the stink people?
Or nothing if it's AI. Oh, sorry.
No. You remember the stink people made when Queen Games went to Kickstarter the first time ever.
That's small. Whatever. They keep going. Didn't affect anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The hill is to die on is not there.
No.
Nobody will be hurt. CMON. Do you think CMON needs crowdfunding to make a game? I doubt it.
No.
Maybe they do, but I don't know. I mean, they certainly do pretty well with those campaigns. I don't know. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I'm not saying don't use crowdfunding, but the solution is there. It's just not the solution anybody wants.
I hear what you're saying. I feel
the solution they need.
Yeah, talk to Dan. You need to get Dan Yarrington on the show, dude. He just put out a game, big game, Everdell for kids or whatever, teen. I forget what it's called. Everdell, my little Everdell. Is that what it was?
Oh,
we had Dan on one night.
Came out of nowhere.
There is
the guy from Stonemeyer doesn't kickstart anymore. They seem to do just fine.
Well, do you want to go into this? I can explain the reasons why for both of those if you want to actually dive into it. And this is
sure.
Like,
well,
I'm
yeah, no, tell me what I mean, because I don't know why they decided as a
well two things. One, and I give them both all the credit in the world. This is
One sec.
this comes across as me being
Wait, Matt's gotta
sarcastic
say
and oh yeah, go man.
I gotta put my head down here and work on some stuff.
All right, dude. I gotta go.
I'm just
too,
gonna say
man.
goodbye.
Merry
and
Christmas.
Merry
I
Christmas
can't
to
stay up late,
everybody.
man. So let's, yeah, good to see you, man.
You too. We'll see you soon.
Take care,
All right.
brother.
See you,
Bye.
man.
So here's what I'll say about this.
Is anybody
is
still
that-
watching this?
Oh, yeah, it was like 14, 12 or something. Like
Oh,
that.
okay, I wasn't sure if we were like
Yeah.
talking.
No,
about it.
so with Danny Arrington, I mean, he's got Everdell money, right? I mean, he's got.
So
he's
it
got
takes money to make games.
It does.
Good
Yes, I'm
game,
not
a
telling
good-
you anything you're
No,
not
no.
don't know.
So I mean, you just need like one good money maker, right?
Well, no, and that's you can if you got Everdell money, plus if you're making a game that says Everdell on it, you know you're going to sell a bunch of it, right? With
Okay.
So with Stonemeyer games, and all the credit in the world to Jamie, he, like, for lack of a better term, created kind of a cult of personality around his publications. I mean, he has people pay him money to get a newsletter.
Really?
And so and then become one of the, and they get first.
Oh no,
crack.
I know, but you get it. There's bennies to it. There's
Oh
benefit.
yeah, they get,
I'm-
they
oh,
get,
yeah,
and
I'm-
then,
I'm
and
one of
they,
those.
and they are guaranteed a pre-order.
I forget what it's called. The Heroes.
I don't remember what it is either. But
Heroes of
they're
Stonemeyer.
they're
Yeah.
guaranteed to be able to pre-order one of his games, and they get it.
But that's better than getting a newsletter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, but that's just one of the things. So it's like, so he has tens of thousands of people that, mind you, are paying him for the privilege. And again, that sounds sarcastic. I'm just like, I'm in awe of the fact that he's
Me too.
able to do that. That is amazing. Good for him and amaze balls for him.
You get a discount too, says Alan Brown. I forgot.
Yeah, you do get a discount. But I
Stonemeyer
mean,
Champions. Yeah, that's right.
So well, okay, so I'll tell you this. No, we pay for discounts. No, Alan, you only pay for discounts if you actually use them. It's like somebody that it's like when you go to Best Buy and you buy something and they say, do you want the purchase protection plan on this? And it's just like, and people think, oh, they get a big discount, they get a big if they upcharge you. No, they don't get extra money. Just Best Buy makes a ton of money off people that are willing to pay the $6 or $8 or $12 or $30 for the purchase protection on that item, because the vast majority of people will either A, never have something go wrong with the item, so they don't need it replaced, or B, will forget they have it in the first place, so they don't know it, or C, know they have it, but lost the card or lost the information and don't know how to do it and won't bother. It's like one of those things where they say that like 12% of all gift cards purchased never get used.
Sure.
I mean, it's that's why people don't. And so, and yes, you may have every Stonemeyer game, Alan, but I guarantee you there are people that pay him for the privilege of having those discounts that never use it. And kudos for him. Kudos to him for pulling it off and getting people to do that. Again, this may sound like
that would
I'm
be me.
sour grapes.
I barely.
am.
I don't buy the latest. I don't buy all the stuff. I missed out on that big bird box. I wanted the bird box. It sold out too quickly.
Yeah, no, and it's just but with Stonemeyer, he knows through his knowledge of his people like Alan, that he knows that, like, I know I'm going to sell 25,000 copies of this game, so I know I'm going to make this amount of money on this game by publishing it. So he doesn't have to go to Kickstarter to collect that. And again, he's found a way to do it. I mean, and he is able to, like, use that. And again, it is nothing but respect. That if it sounds like I'm like thinking he's like some dirty cheater or something, I don't think that at all. I think what he's been able to do and what he's been able to create with his company is he deserves all the respect and kudos in the world.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah. So
but yeah, I mean, the solution is there. It's just that it's hard to do. If
it's too much. It's too much. People don't realize how much money it costs to print a game. And I'm not talking about just actually going to China and manufacturing. I'm talking about the year it takes to develop it, to get it to a point where it's actually playable.
Every little part. Yeah, it's
And-
not just the $25 per the box or whatever the game. It's just,
Yeah, no, and let's be fair, the actual like cost of each game to be made, like, I mean, just name a game offhand. I could probably come within $5. I could probably come within $2 of the cost it takes to print that game off and make a copy in China. I mean, like, I don't know,
well, you
like
know,
what?
I don't know, Heat. Actually, I
Heat?
don't know if that's manufactured in China. That might be manufactured in Germany.
Okay,
But,
well, I mean, but I can tell you right now, Heat from when I played it, and just by memory, the components, like the box, the number of punch
Plastic
card
cards,
pieces, the plastic cards,
Probably 3
the
decks of cards, maybe 4.
Yeah.
There's a
I'm guessing that costs right around $6 to $8 to make a copy of it.
pretty cheap,
Yeah, it's super cheap.
inexpensive.
It is not, and that's for
We
the
get it right.
company, that's for China to print off everything for one copy and to have somebody put it all together and put it in that box and then wrap it up and put it in a box. That's what you're paying for in China. And it's probably less, honestly, because Days of Wonder probably did a print run of like 75,000 copies of that or something like that. And when the more copies you make, the less it costs. So I'm pretty sure the number of copies they had made, it got it down to, less than $5. I mean, that's just my guess. I don't know for sure. So the cost to get that game to that point where you can actually make it, though, it's everything. It's the art. It's the 70,000 hours of playtest time. It's, I mean, it's and that's a quantity that's tough to pin down. It's tough to determine what that is. And I don't know. It's one of those things where when you have somebody that, like, I don't usually get upset about people making comments on our Kickstarters or things like that. The only things that annoy me are when people that like literally have no clue what it takes to publish a board game trying to come in there and saying, well, this is ridiculous. This is well, why is it like this? It's like, well, when somebody, and that's to do with anything, when you come into a situation with zero knowledge of what you're talking about, and you try to come in and say, well, this can't possibly be true. It's like, okay, well, I wouldn't step, if I paid a plumber to come in and redo all of my pipe work, I wouldn't look over his shoulder and tell him he wasn't doing it right, because I would have no freaking clue what he was doing. So let the people that are actually making the games actually make the games. And that it's almost Christmas and I'm so grouchy.
Yeah, it's like an interesting dilemma with this crowdfunding thing. It just makes your life miserable, but it's so the forbidden fruit.
It's not even the forbidden fruit. It's just,
Well,
why
free money is for good forbidden fruit.
well, okay,
tasty.
but here's so I'm gonna publish this game. Do I want to spend 25 grand on everything? The tooling of like to print off my like specific meeple like shapes and the art and all the pieces and everything like that, and then ship it over to a port and then ship it into my warehouse and get a distribution. When all is said and done, I've spent 40, 50, 60 grand to do that, and then launch my game, and then I'm going to hope that I sell through my print run, so maybe I make some money off of it. Or
That's what the
do
old
I
days were
want
like.
to
Yeah.
basically show how the game like works, like make a few high level prototypes, get them into the hands of reviewers that are going to talk about it, show off the game to their loyal fan bases, spend some time marketing it, set up your Discord, spend some money on BGG ads, do what you got to do to make people like know it exists, launch it on Kickstarter, and then have them give you $400,000 or whatever. And now you have the money to and you can pay off your artists, and you can pay off everybody, and you can get it made and you get it done. And also you can like keep your company and you can put some of that money away so you can start looking for the next game. It's not that people are like, it's Kickstarter it isn't like crowdfunding is is a way that these companies exist. It isn't they exist
Sure.
and they use crowdfunding. You know,
I understand.
I don't know.
But the question is, should they exist really?
Should well, I don't know. I mean, how many games there come out that you love? I mean, think of how many games you
I love all
love
the
that have
games.
been created.
I love all games.
Well, then you would have all
I
those
want
games.
I like crowdfunding for what it brings to the world of gaming. You remember how it used to be? You
Oh, I
remember
absolutely remember what it was used to be.
yeah, you'd have to wait for a good game to come out.
Oh, I can remember. Well,
You
no,
still
it was,
do.
there was that exactly. Good one, Barry. No, the thing is that like, and I've said this, and this isn't something I have. People that listen to me talk, like they know that I've said this a million times. You used to go to a convention and walk down. You could walk up and down the tables, and you would know every single game that was being played on every single table because there were like 20 to 30 really good games that came out that year and
Yeah.
everybody played them. You'd be like, oh, that's that. And then you get to the area where people are playing some older stuff and you'd still know the games they were playing. You're like, yep, that's that. You know, and then you see something you've never seen before and you're like, what is this? And it's like, oh, it's this German game that like is this little tiny company based in Finland that came out with this. And you're like, it's something new. I've got to play this. I need to know what it is. I
Oh,
need
those
to know
days are
how it
so
works.
good. So those
Yeah.
days are gone. Old days, man. Glory days. Well, yeah. no.
When you found that something new, that was a pretty good moment.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have that look on your
Yeah, there's
face, like,
nothing
oh
like
my
it.
gosh, what is
There's
this?
nothing
You
like
know,
that. Yeah.
and you'd be sitting there and it's just like, so what's this grid over here? I don't understand what these cards do. And
Yeah,
then you'd be
what
interrupting
do
the
these
game.
symbols do? What is this?
Yeah, what does this do? And it's
How do
just
I move
like,
these
oh,
around?
I mean, are you almost done? Are you almost done playing? I mean, how many more rounds? Yeah, okay. So you got like 2 more rounds. I mean, would you guys play again? I
But
mean,
that feeling is still around for people that are not us.
I fully
Yeah.
agree. I fully agree. But I mean,
That's
but
why people are buying games still. Like the
Yeah.
feeling. Here's the thing: there's more than enough games in existence right now that could satisfy every single human in the world
Oh, yeah.
forever for a good amount of time. Right?
Mhm.
Do any new games need to be made?
Well, I'm looking at my giant stacks of RPG books over there, right? I mean, I never needed to buy another RPG book ever.
Actually, that's an
again.
interesting thought experiment. Like, could you just exist on all the games that exist now and never have a new one? I mean, there's probably a lot.
You could if nobody ever lets you know that a new game came out. Like, right. If you cut yourself off from BGG, if you cut yourself off from like, you know, if you just had, you know. Well, it's like I said, I mean, I am super excited to never let the vast majority of my board games back into my house. Like I've actually thought about which ones I would keep that are in there. You know, like I've been thinking about it. I thought about it while I'm here.
Says Kabuki.
What?
Yeah.
Turn off the FOMO switch,
Unfortunately, for many people, you can't do that.
which
One
is easier and easier to do these days.
second.
Turning off that FOMO switch. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
So much stuff.
Yeah, there
I
is.
don't feel like I missed out on anything.
Neither do I.
Although a lot of stuff comes in this house, just passes through, and I'm like, oh, I want to play it, but I don't. You know?
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
But I'm just saying the board game world is kind of like that, right? Like you don't have
Yeah.
to.
I agree with the Kickstarter.
There's plenty of. I feel like BGG will let you know which games they will play, but you don't need to play everything. So FOMO is not really a thing. You get the way. You get the
No.
thing.
I
Good.
don't know if I totally agree with that, Scott, because BGG is built on hotness now. You know, it's so some of these games
Right.
will, you know,
But there's a lot of people just testing the waters for us.
yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
what do you? Honestly, I mean, I looked at like the Essen releases to see what the most exciting games were, just to see what to play, like to make my play decisions.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going to play enough. I'm not going to be able to play. I can only play so many games. I need to know what to play. I'm happy for someone to tell me what to play. I don't need to go out there and forge my own way. If that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I get you. Yeah.
I like to listen to a person who takes the time to put in all the effort to play a game and tell me if it's good or not. I like.
Oh yeah, I love being taught a game. Love it. You know what's crazy is that we signed a game. Well, actually, shouldn't say signed. We basically said we think this game's really good. We need to monkey with it for like 2-3 weeks, and
Monkey with it.
you would just make sure that it's like make sure that we don't break it. Like so Josh and I have been playing this game a lot lately, and it is basically it is a game that has a Cthulhu theme, but we'll ditch it and put the Deception Murder on Hong Kong theme on it. And but it is not a Deception game. It doesn't play like Deception. It is a game of like it is did you ever play Der Kurzfahrt zum Teufelberg?
I never did. I always wanted to.
That's such a good game. It reminds me a
Devil's
lot.
Coach or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
the coach ride to the Devil's Castle or whatever.
That's right. Something like that.
Yeah,
I always
but,
wanted to play it. I never could grok it. Like it just never worked. Or I
Yeah,
never was
yeah.
taught it, and I never wanted to read the rules.
Yeah, no. So Der Kurzfahrt zum Teufelsberg is a very good game. I have a copy somewhere. That might be one that makes the cut because
But it's only like one deck of
It's
cards.
a deck of cards. Yeah. So it'll be easy to keep that one.
Do you remember
Wait, I got to tell you the story about this game. So this basically this game is the game that as it is, and if we decide to make it, is it's Cthulhu based. It is everybody's on a passenger liner, and somebody has the idol, this Cthulhu idol, and basically the ship has to go through these 9 different cards. Every card is like a journey location, and it'll have like a special power, like that will affect the round, the game, that round, that kind of thing. And then and then everybody has a hand of cards. And the hand and you start off your hand limit is 6, but as you lose your sanity or gain sanity, and there's many ways to do that, as the game progresses, your hand size goes down and up to a minimum of 2 to a maximum of 9. On your turn, you can play cards out of your hand. But you can only play cards that are alike. And so like there's certain cards that like investigate or steal or whatever. If you have one card, like the effect is very small. If you have 4 of the same card, that's the max. The effect is huge. The whole point of the game is one person has a card in their hand that is the idol to Cthulhu. And so you have to use cards. There's an investigate card, there's a steal card, there's a paranoia card, there's a drink card, and then there's a delirium card. The delirium cards are wild. They can be used for anything. Investigate allows you to peek into people's hands. There's lots of different, like one time, like with one of them, you can just look at one person, one card of one person, and you give them back. Steal, one card lets you steal one card. Like if you have 4 steal cards and you play them, you just get to take somebody's hand. You just swap hands with somebody. The whole point is you got to find the idol. There's up to 6 people that are playing. You got to figure out who has the idol, get it into your hand, and then hide it and make sure it stays where it is and have the knowledge of it. It's a lot of fun, and it plays quick. It lasts like 20 minutes. It's like everybody gets one round, you flip the next card over, see what effects that happens that round. You know, and the same thing over and over again. And it's like super fun. And why is it super fun? Because you can teach the game in 5 minutes. And then once you start playing, everybody's talking and everybody's having a lot of fun. Now that doesn't mean that like you can't have fun playing, Pioneers of Mars or whatever, but it just a game that takes, all right, 45 minutes and we haven't done a single action because we've been doing the teach. It's just like
Yeah.
I mean,
When
I
I
used
learned
to
on
say
Mars-
I'll play that if you teach me, but now I'm
Yeah.
like, if somebody's like, yeah, okay, let's do the teach, and like a half hour later, I'm like, I can't. I just can't. This might be the best game ever, but you're gonna hate me in an hour when I'm basically staring at the ceiling, wondering I could be doing anything, and I chose to do this. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. I've always said that's a conundrum. If you are totally not enjoying a game, when is it okay for you to say, look, this isn't for me?
I do it more than more.
Is
Unfortunately,
is it okay if I
Well-
just bow out?
I think my group has got the dynamic now that I can do that, and I don't think anyone minds too much about that. And I don't bow out. I always say, "Do we want to stop?" If nobody wants to stop, then I'll just keep playing.
Oh, really?
But
Because
it's not like
I've
I
had
want-
people
it's-
that are
I'm never
playing
like
games.
dictating that.
I've had people that have been playing the games. They've just said it's at one point where they're just like, yeah, I just, is it okay if I just stop playing at this point? Will it ruin the game if I quit? And it's just kind of like, and I respect that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I'm not going to be the jerk. No, you're going to hate the next hour of your life. You know, just like, I mean,
Settle in.
but I am
We're gonna make
definitely
it longer now.
I always
definitely
invite
believe-
people to play my turn, help me play my turn, so I can,
Yeah.
because otherwise I have to sit there and actually make a decision in a game.
I
So
think
I'm
in
a
that
terrible game player
situation,
now these days.
in
Terrible.
that situation, what I do usually is if somebody's like that, I'll just say, let's just play something else. You know, let's just
Yeah.
wrap this one up.
Most of the time we end up, it's very rare, but we do end up aborting the game.
Still got my badge, baby.
Still got it. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not even worn off yet.
He doesn't shower.
The prints
He-
in it.
Well, I
You
don't
know,
shower.
Shower once
Yeah,
a
yeah,
week.
exactly.
Showering is not
My daughter still has hers on her wrist too.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
I know. Well, you don't. You just
It was
walk around
gone that day.
you walk around like the king of Siam there. I still remember, and this is horrible. I still remember like we had just come down from like our room and we were just heading to go grab something to eat, or we were going back to our booth for something. I don't know what it was. And it was like 7 or 8 o'clock, and I had my badge on, whole 9 yards, and one of your volunteers was like, "Oh, you no, I had this on, but I didn't have my badge." And she's like, "Oh, you need your badge." And I was like, I'm a vendor. I'm just going to
Do
my
you
booth."
know who I am?
No, I didn't say that. I said I have to go to my booth to go and grab something that we left there, and I need to get there before it closes. And she's like, I'm so sorry, but I can't let you go past and see your badge. And I was just
Mhm.
like,
For her.
I'm
Doing
gonna
her
have you
job.
fucking
Doing
fired.
her job.
I know Scott Alden. You will not be here when I get back.
Oh,
That's not what
gee.
happened.
So I just went around.
Fired.
I just went around her, and I found somebody who was like, "Hey, Lance." I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I just walked in. So,
I'm
and
curious.
then when
if- I need to do an evaluation of that. I mean, like, do we catch anybody? Because we used to have people crash the con all the time now. That
I
was
remember
really,
seeing people
maybe
crash
like
the con.
5 years ago, there was more crashers. And people would brag about it, and then we would get told about it, and then we'd like find the person. That was like, there's a guy bragging that he didn't pay over there. The thing about board gamers is they're sticklers for the rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't tell them
yeah.
you're breaking the rules because they will turn your ass in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Scott, I had a question. Oh, I asked you about the games, right? Whether you wanted them back or.
Yeah, you keep them donating, whatever.
All right, cool. Yeah, I planned it in the beginning. I planned to donate them to a hospital. The sleeping thing. You change your schedule on the machine. Do you find it's working any better now that it's been a while? Or
Yeah, it's a lot better.
is it? The
Crazy
schedule
how
and
better
all.
it is. Yeah, no, I mean, I wake up at like 7, 8 a.m. No problem. I just wake up and get like ready to go. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like with very little, in my opinion, fewer hours. I feel like I
Yeah.
slept more. But like I would sleep. I wouldn't fall asleep till 2 or 3,
Hmm.
4 sometimes, and sleep till like noon or
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Noon was a stretch, but let's say 11.
Yeah.
So it was like 8 hours or 7 or 8 hours with a weird offset. But now I'm like, I mean, in fact, I'm gonna go to bed in a minute here. I gotta go.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to wrap up anyway. So
Uh,
I got more
but I'll-
flooring to put down.
I'll fall asleep pretty darn quick and wake up
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, and I'm working on my floor.
It's an interesting thing.
How many hours are you actually in bed now? Is it
Let me
shorter?
see. I will tell
Nobody's
you.
nobody's,
It logs
nobody's
I know, right?
talking about my flooring. I'm putting
Oh, yeah.
vinyl plank flooring in my
I
house.
see
It's a
your
floor.
flooring. That looks
Vinyl.
good.
I've done hundreds of them. Big deal.
I'm doing pretty good with that stuff.
So I did 7.5 hours each.
Okay.
So
So it's on par.
yeah.
So
You just feel more
You
rested.
were talking about
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
Does anybody else remember? I can remember
That's
times
awesome.
like after I moved out of my parents' house and I was like, 21, 22, just being a layabout, a sponge on society.
A ne'er-do-well.
Yeah. But I can remember
Lackadaisical
I can remember
ne'er-do-well.
there'd be situations where I was like, yeah, I got a couple days off of like I'm not scheduled. I don't got a shift the Pizza Hut for a couple of days. So it was just like one of those things where it's like, oh wow, what are you gonna do? And that was back when like I played a lot of computer games and stuff like that.
And
I
he
played
smoked some
Muds online
dubage.
and just like all this stuff. Remember Muds? I remember Muds.
Mhm.
But I remember like sitting there and I like had all these things. And so it was one of those where like you stay up for like 24 hours and like you're just then you're like between playing Sega and going and being on on your computer and heading to the bar and grabbing a few drinks, and it's like you've been up 24 hours and you're up for like 28. And then like you realize you're up for 32 and you get that weird second wind where you're like not tired again. You're like you somehow like you get past the being exhausted.
That's your rhythms.
Yeah.
Kicking back
And
in.
then
Well, I guess we're supposed to be awake now.
and then
Squeeze
but
out more
I-
juice.
yeah, but I do remember oh wow, thanks Kabuki. Everyone's just nod and approve. Yo, fuck your floor. Nice. You guys are great. Thank you.
Floor is great, Lance. Floor is great.
The bestest
Beautiful.
floor I ever
It's
seen.
beautiful.
No, so
How long does it take to
I'm
put
gonna
those
I'm
floor
gonna have
down?
a pretty sweet family room here.
Depends on who
in
you
the
are,
next few
Scott.
months. It's gonna be pretty sweet down there. But no, but I remember like then you'd finally like, oh, I gotta fall asleep, right? I finally, and that was back when in my apartment, this 2-bedroom apartment I lived in, that was like $310 a month. It was just it was like now
Yeah.
it'd be unheard of.
Yeah.
And I still had trouble coming up with that amount. Just like But I remember I had in my bedroom I had my old water bed, but I just put the old box, the box for the water bed. It didn't have a base or anything. It just had the box and the water bed. I remember I crawled into bed and I fell asleep. And I did this a few times where you just been up for so long and you fall asleep and then you wake up, and this is before you have cell phones or anything like that. And like literally you went to bed and it's dark and you wake up and it's dark and you're just like, good Lord, what time is it? You're just like you have like literally no idea. Did I just sleep like 20 hours?
Yeah,
Was I that
something is
I've
tired?
never
wrong
slept that
here.
many hours,
I have.
but I feel like it could have happened. Maybe. Anyway, it's great if you have that sleep apnea stuff. Even if I don't know, like the thing that sucks is it's a fucking annoying.
Yeah.
The machine.
Oh, the machine. Yeah.
And it's just it's annoying. I gotta clean it every week,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Major cleaning every week, and then I gotta fill it up every night, and then I gotta put it on, and it's kind of like annoying just to wear it, like
Yeah.
in general. Although I'm finding I'm falling asleep like in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
So it's
I've
worth
always
it.
had a problem of falling asleep fast.
Yeah.
It takes hours, especially because I like to read or look at shit
Yeah.
and not read. I'm talking about read web pages. By
Right.
reading, I'm looking at the computer,
Right.
and
Yeah, which keeps your brain going.
but I'm like reading BGG posts or
that light keeps your brain.
the light will
amped.
keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's I'm out like 5 minutes,
Wow, that's awesome.
which is crazy. Like I've
Yeah.
never been that. It's a success story so far.
Yeah, that's great. I assume it's totally worth the pain in the ass of cleaning and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would not
Yeah.
I would not trade
So-
it for the old.
Yeah.
And I remember, and Zevis said this to me too, and we were talking about it. I am blessed because I have never, like other than like a handful of times in my life, like basically I count on less than 5 fingers the number of times where I went to bed and I couldn't fall asleep. It's like literally one of those
Happened to
things
me all the
where,
time.
where
Yeah,
I
but what about the people trying to sleep next to you?
yeah. No, I mean, like,
Yeah.
literally, my
That's the
wife,
question.
she said, I watched you fall asleep on rocks. Just like, but it's like literally, like it's just
Yeah,
one of
it's
those
pretty
things
lucky. That's
where
good.
I've always just said, it's just like we're waiting. Like she's like there's been times when, because I've always just learned it was like, oh, I got nothing's going on. I can just close, I can cross my arms like this, and I can just
Nap
close my
time.
eyes,
Yeah.
and I'll drift off, and so Lance, yeah, what's up?"
Power down.
Yeah, I just like, what's up? It's like our table's ready. Oh, sweet, let's go. Just like
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and I just, but yeah, when I get to bed, like I'll be sitting there, I'll be reading a book or whatever, and then my wife's like, "I'm going to bed. Can you turn your light off?" Yeah, sure. And like, I'll just, bookmark, dunk,
Yeah, day
know,
sleeping is also a
put
problem.
the pillow where I want it.
Oh, yeah.
Click.
Like I would fall
And
asleep
then
on my desk all the time.
they're just like,
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I've been
how do you
trying to
fall asleep?
remove.
How do you fall asleep so quick? I don't know. Just close your eyes and go to bed.
I've been trying to restrain myself, but I got this thing where I wake up at between 2 and 3 a.m. every day. It's just from work. I was on a night shift for 9 years.
Yeah, that
lunchtime.
messes up your
Yeah,
rhythm.
Yeah.
Your body clock is set weird.
Yeah.
And then once I'm up though. Like I can't. I'm not one of them persons who could take a nap.
Yeah.
I can run off of 4 hours and then I'm up for 20. And I can't nap in between. I never could.
For me, it's I got to be up for 10. I mean, I can fall asleep right away, but if I can stay up for 10 minutes, I'm up. Like I'm good. I'm
You can break out of it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was feeling the effects of the apnea. Like I would wake up and be like, I feel like hell. What's wrong? Why am I
Yeah.
feeling so shitty? And then now that's mostly gone.
That's awesome.
Good, man.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
glad
it's
to
great.
hear it.
I'm not like, I mean, it's not, I don't feel it's like that changing. Maybe I should just accept the fact that it's changing. So maybe,
Yeah. No,
well,
it's good,
I've been
man.
sort of like, not sure,
Yeah.
but now I'm more, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I talk to patients about like how do you judge efficacy of a treatment, it's really beneficial to like write
Sorry.
down your symptoms,
Before.
and then compare and contrast and be like, oh, I forgot how bad it was. Because when it's you living the same thing day to day and with little incremental changes, it's tough to see the change over time.
Yeah.
But if you read back and you're like,
I
oh
should have
crap, I
done that.
forgot it was awful. I'm way better now.
Anyway, indeed.
You guys can keep talking. I gotta go though.
Oh, you'll let us? Thank
No,
you so
please
much. I
don't
appreciate
don't
it.
quit the Alaboom on my behalf, please.
Have a happy
But good to
Christmas.
see
Thank
you.
goodness.
child.
Thank goodness you said it was okay for us to continue, though. I mean,
Oh,
I was
I
a little
would-
worried.
Oh, he is the king of board
It's
game.
polite.
I just have
Right.
to.
Zzz.
But good to
good to
see
see ya.
everybody get all your
Merry
hopefully
Christmas.
Everybody gets everything they want for Christmas if they want anything,
Yeah.
Already did.
All
Christmas.
I want for Christmas
or your
is
family has a
you.
fun time with it because family stuff is always weird, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing my family. I mean, it's all good.
Do they
We'll get
watch the
through
show? Do they watch the show?
All right,
I mean,
guys.
no,
Have a
I'm
good
looking
one.
forward to it.
I don't know if I'm going to see my family. I don't know if I'm going to be able to move.
Really?
Weather's going to fuck me up. We're dropping 30
Oh,
degrees
yeah.
overnight tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think.
quit your crying.
They're gonna
It was
fuck
like
me up.
negative 20 today, or who cares?
If it were constant, I would be okay with it. It's just this dramatic drop and rise. That shit-
I laugh every year when you see this thing where it's like, oh, it's the cold snap turbine death blow, whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah,
it's Minnesota in December.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
most people go south.
It was negative 20 today, and I was walking around in shorts outside. My wife was like losing her mind. She was so mad at me.
I was reading
She's
somebody
like,
put up this.
who are you trying to impress? I was like, nobody. I don't like wearing pants. And people were like, but it was cold enough that people were actually looking at me like, you probably wearing pants. I'm like, whatever.
He's going
The
to be
car is warm. The store is warm.
the car breaks down. The car's not warm.
No. The inside the car will stay warm enough. Plus, you have blankets in your car. Who doesn't have winter
I don't know
blankets
if
and
I
stuff?
do, to be honest with you. My wife
Well,
went through
that's
that
because you don't live in
car.
Minnesota and you don't.
No, I normally
you
do.
Have it. You have an emergency. Everybody should have. I mean, if you don't,
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
should
But
have an
everybody has an
emergency
emergency bag.
Yeah, I got ratchets, mercy, clothes, candle, blanket. Yeah, but I don't know if it's in it. Like I said, my wife went through the car. I haven't really been in that car in 5 years. We went to Florida. She bought me a hat because she took mine out. So God only knows what else is in that car.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Actually, I was talking to Jen about this the other day. I don't know how to use the low gear on my car. I've never had to use it.
Oh, like
It's-
going up hills and stuff.
It's like one of those semi-automatic manual ones where you
Okay.
throw it down to low or whatever it would be,
Yeah,
and it's got buttons where you could shift up and down.
yeah. That's for going up hills, man.
Yeah, or snow or stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know how to use it in the car. I never used it.
yeah. Well, when you have a janky, weak motor like most of my old cars, you learn how to use the low gears. Trying to get up the hill. Cars are passing you, honking at you. You're like, keep going. It's good. It's good. I'll be over here.
That happens.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna stay up too late tonight. I just I got that flooring I have to do and everything I was talking about. I'm doing my own flooring.
Do you
Evan,
think
did
you'll
you
put
hear
it-
he's doing his own flooring?
Are you going to put it in by yourself though?
Yeah, my wife and I have been doing it.
Oh,
You make
now
fun
it's
of
your
me?
wife and I. Right,
I said my wife and I are
seconds
doing the
ago it was,
flooring. I
I'm
said,
doing my
those
own
are exact
flooring.
words. Oh my god, you suck.
And her words were,
Okay. Did you move the tank yet?
No, that's still over there. That's gonna be
You might be able to
That's-
just slide that.
what, 10?
yeah, and ruin the
Mhm.
flooring that I put down. No,
Nah, you
Oh,
protect
the-
it well enough. You'll be
the-
all right.
The fish
no,
tank?
I got a plan. It's gonna be scary to pull off. So,
You might have to do a little temporary thing and take the water out.
well, no, I'll remove like 2/3 of the water when I
Yeah.
do it,
Oh yeah.
and then
Just be
but
careful.
yeah, I've got a plan.
Careful the stress on that tank though. Even 2/3. Yeah. That acrylic will crack.
It isn't acrylic; it's glass.
The glass will crack too.
Well, no, but I mean the glass is stronger than anybody. I hear the acrylic is lighter. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But you will scratch it. You will eventually.
Oh yeah, acrylic.
Like
starts
all
looking
of your
gross.
acrylic, everybody's like with their tanks. It's like everybody has known. They're like, yeah, look at my like. There's like all these top end acrylic tanks, and they're like, yeah, look at my acrylic, and I'm like, yeah, just be super careful with it. Because you will eventually scratch it. And they're like, oh no, I read all the things. Then like at some point you go over there and you can see there's a and you can never get rid of it. Once it's
Yep.
scratched, it's
Yep.
screwed.
You
And
can
that's
buff it
why
out.
I am like it's mine's glass, and yeah, I know it weighs a ton, but it's strong, and it's not going anywhere, and it's gonna
Next
be,
week we'll hear all the fish were on the floor.
I saved them. I saved most of them. I saved
What
at
was
least
that?
one of them.
Except for the one I didn't like. Fuck him.
No, I
He's
mean,
dead
did you
all
hear about
alone,
that?
he used to
There was that giant aquarium in Germany that shattered.
Oh really?
Yeah, they just
I
didn't,
bet that was an acrylic.
that was yeah, Google it. It was like millions of gallons of
Oh,
water.
yeah. It's a lot of stress. People don't realize. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of weight. Like I think a gallon of water is 7 pounds. Yeah, I think it was
so
7
it's heavy.
pounds.
And then you get the weight of the water on top of the water.
Yeah.
And it compounds.
Yeah, you ever notice that? Like when you look at next time you look at a water tower, look at the. I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
Nope, not gonna sneeze. Anyway,
Don't bless.
Blessed him. Do not
What?
bless you. You are unblessed.
You're unblessed. There you go.
Oh, there
we
it
go,
is.
bless you.
You're
Re-blessed.
re-blessed.
You've been re-blessed.
There it came. Eventually.
I'm not ordained. Are you, Evan? Who are
I
we to
am
be blessed?
Universal Church of Life, baby.
I got married by an ordained.
And I no, and I can perform marriages in the states of North Dakota and Minnesota. So if you want to get married, hit up. I'll sign the piece of paper.
I already did that once. I'm done. I'm good.
I don't
1,
think
2
you
for
know.
2.
I guess I could do it in a second state.
I presided over 2 marriages, and both of them are still together, so I'm 100% right.
Nice.
But yeah. Anyway, no. What was I saying about the sneeze and I was talking about
Flooring.
aquariums?
You did the
and-
flooring all by yourself. No one helped.
Nobody else except for the wife that I mentioned, but I didn't mention. But I'm going to say I mentioned so I don't look like a fool. Where else were we?
There's one fish that you'd be.
Oh, you were
okay
saying
with
water
that-
tower,
if
something
they
about water
died.
tower.
Oh yeah, water towers.
Okay.
So,
Sorry,
if you see water towers, and you'll notice like the metal bands around them
Yeah.
they're closer together on the bottom, but as they get they're further and further apart as they climb up because they don't have to, they aren't under as much pressure. You know, because of
That makes
whatever.
sense. I don't know if I
Yeah.
ever noticed that, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they
And
used to use
my
wooden towers.
daughter wanted to know what water tower, because there's when you're around here in this area, there's tons of water towers. Just because there's lots of empty space, and in the Great Plains, people, you can see them for miles and miles and miles, and so
Yeah.
like they'll have slogans on them and stuff like that. Usually
Yeah.
to know, like beautiful, like there's a few that are just beautiful, these beautiful Minnesota murals on them, and you can see them from miles around. But regardless, my daughter's like, well, what do they do? And I'm like, they hold water. And I was like, well, why? And I was just like, because it creates water pressure. And I was trying to explain, and she's just like, I don't understand. It's like, well, just think of the fact that when you turn on the water in like anywhere in our house, the reason why that water comes out of that pipe is because it's under pressure. And I tried to explain to her that like the pressure is created, I said, in part by these giant water towers. And she's like, I don't understand. Okay, so it's like there's all this water in there and it's pushing down, and so that pushes down on all the water. And so when you open yours up, like the pressure that's being created, and then for like, I remember like she was like 6 or 7, she was like, so like the water tower that's like miles away from our house is creating the pressure that pushes. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it is, it's absolutely completely nutballs when you think about how well that works.
I don't know if I ever did that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing it
I-
for hundreds of years.
well, I mean, you
You
don't have
work.
a water pump outside your yard when you turn on your water. I mean,
Maybe I do.
Well,
No, I
maybe you
don't.
do,
I don't.
but I
I
mean,
don't.
that's why
I
they
used
have
to.
all these like
I used to have a place to do.
that's why they have like all that stuff, it's
Actually,
yeah,
my
I mean, it's
grandmother's
like
house.
well, and that's like when you walk outside and it's windy. Why is it windy?
Because the
water
wind
pressure.
blows.
No,
The water
wind
tower.
is created
The wind
by,
tower.
The water
no,
tower.
wind is created by
The Sasquatch.
yes, by Bigfoot. Wind is created by Bigfoot. No,
Sasquatch makes big waves.
wind is created by
He
by
farted.
areas of low and high pressure, right? So like
Yeah.
basically when you have the same thing, like when you have a situation when you open up a faucet, you are decreasing the amount of pressure that's holding
Right.
that water back. So you're decreasing,
pressure
so it
wants to
it
equalize.
flows in the other way.
Yep.
So when you have an area of low pressure and there's an area of high pressure, the air from the high pressure area wants to flow into the area
Yep.
of low pressure until it can, it can even those out and those things move around and whatever. I don't know. So it's all kinds of crazy stuff like that, where I used to at one point in my life, I thought it would be fun to be a meteorologist. And then it was like a lot of science instead of just a bunch of weather. And I was just like, yeah, this sucks. I don't have to read all these books.
So,
But it's interesting stuff. It's cool stuff.
yeah,
Literally. At least in the winter.
at least in the winter.
Yeah, no.
Is that
And
snow
that's
outside
that's
your
why we're
window?
gonna have the snownomi and everybody's losing their minds. It's gonna be cold and everybody's gonna die.
You're gonna
And I shouldn't say that, because there's gonna be people
I mean,
that
some
actually
people
have,
will.
Yeah, there will be
horrible health
people who
problems
lose,
out of
yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
it sucks
loss of power, stuff like that.
because they aren't ready for it. And there's gonna be entire towns that are gonna get an inch of snow and they're gonna shut down everything they do because they don't have the capability of handling
Yeah.
an inch of snow.
Yeah, Scott.
They
Oh,
don't-
he
they don't
left.
have the system set up. Is that snow out your window there?
Oh yeah, that's snow.
Nice.
I mean, I've
Now,
got
is this
I've-
basement?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
I've got
not that
I've
much
got
snow.
3-4 feet of snow in my backyard. My husky loves it. Just runs out there. I'm just the happiest of happy.
We're
I'm
just
finally
supposed to
not boiling. This is great.
So
We're
Kabuki Kid mentioned almost no
ice.
weather reporters are meteorologists. They just report the work meteorologists grew up. So in where I live, there is a guy named John Wheeler, and meteorologist. And that was like when I was like 5 or 6 years old. He was the weather guy for Channel 6 news.
Channel
And
6,
they would
big
actually
deal.
say, there was actually ads that say most, the other channels, weather people just are just weathermen. They aren't meteorologists. John Wheeler actually, has a blah, blah, blah. They made a big deal out of that,
Yeah.
right? Just the fact that he was a meteorologist.
Yeah.
And within the next 2 years, both other
Got
the
meteorologists.
channels, they went out and hired meteorologists.
That's
I
hilarious.
can't think of the one guy's name, but the other guy is Tom Shemansky,
Shemansky.
and Tom Shemansky, you can find out he's like 6'10".
Wow.
And so it's Ed Tom Too Tall Tom Shemansky, and
Yeah.
he played college basketball. He got his degree by going to college on his basketball scholarship. And I remember I met him once because he was a big partier when he came to town. I met him a couple times at the bar, and I ended up talking to him a lot. It's tough not to notice him because he was just huge. I remember talking to him about it, and he's got a really low voice. And when he does the radio, it's like, for Channel 6, I am Too Tall Tom Shemansky. And he does this thing. But I remember I asked him, I was like, "You played basketball?" He's like, "Yeah, I was a star in high school because I was super tall and stuff like that." But I mean, he's like, "I wasn't a very good basketball player, but I did get a free ride." And I was like, "Oh,
Right.
cool." I said, "Yeah, did you ever play in the March Madness tournament?" He's like, "Oh yeah, totally." And that's probably one of my fondest memories. I was like, "Oh, do you have any moments in the sun kind of thing?" He's like,
Yeah.
"My probably biggest claim to fame was," he said, in whatever March Madness thing it was, I got dunked on by Magic Johnson.
Yeah. That's great.
Just I was like,
That's
"Oh,
great.
that's cool." Yeah, he's like, "That's probably the biggest moment of my life is that Magic Johnson dunked a basketball on me."
So once the other two stations got meteorologists, did they change their marketing to the original, oldest, wisest
No,
of weathermen?
he's still a weatherman though.
The
I mean,
original
he
meteorologist.
has to be in his 70s. And I remember
Right.
I would see him when I worked as I umpired softball in the summer. He must have, there's these ballparks, they called it Elephant Fields, and I don't know why the Elephant Park. There was a park called Elephant Park. There was no elephants in it. They just called it Elephant Park for whatever reason.
Back in the day.
But
never know.
Elephant Fields, and I would go
Way
there and I
back
would
in the
umpire softball, and he must
I've
have
seen
had a
camels
house.
in
Yeah, I
America.
must have had a house near there, and he would just go for a walk, and I remember, and then and he'd stop and watch the games every once in a while, and I would and I remember one time I said, "Hey, it's John Wheeler." He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Thanks for watching." And
Yeah.
he kept walking. And after that, since we had that moment of back and forth, when he'd walk by, I'd wave and he'd wave, and we'd nod to each other.
Yeah. Ooh, he didn't talk to me that time. That was
Oh,
close.
thank God. The
That was
weirdo.
close. That weirdo.
The weirdo didn't talk to me in the umpire uniform. So yeah,
Yeah.
close call. Sure, that guy could just talk your fucking ear off. for
Right.
nothing.
He almost started.
Yeah.
You
Oh, look at the time.
should have been on radio.
Gotta go.
But,
Got a broadcast to do.
thanks for
Gotta
watching.
read the news.
Too tall. Anyway, all right. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
It's getting
Christmas.
late.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff to do tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear he's got a floor to put down?
I
Oh.
understand that he's doing it all alone.
Alone.
I'll try to remember to miss you when I don't talk to you for a while, Barry. So
I'm sure you will.
I'm sure I will as well. Everybody take care of yourself.
All right. Good night,
Be good to
everybody.
yourself. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, just have a
Stay safe
splendid
out there.
time with your family members, and enjoy
And
the
there's no
enjoy the
pop-ups.
holidays. All right. Good night, everyone.